Chapter 369. Just as she desired when Ming Xiu heard Lu Muyan's confident telepathic words, he immediately retracted his steps and looked at the man in purple with cold eyes. He didn't immediately deal with this person before because, 1, he didn't want to reveal too much strength, and 2, he wanted Lu Muyan to obtain the 6 major sect's pupils' favor of rescuing them. Now that the man controlled the dark soul beast to attack his woman, he was already a dead person in his eyes. With the array broken, he didn't need to be polite anymore. A giant golden sword fell in his hands. Unlike the natal magic tool that Lu Muyan used the heavenly frost golden essence 1 to refine, Ming Xiu's natal magic tool was obviously of a higher level. The golden sword swept in an arc, and a dazzling golden light, like sunlight, fell straight down, instantly enveloping the man in purple. At the same time, the sharp claws of the dark soul beast also fell atop of Lu Muyan's head. She didn't dodge. Her lips curled up in a vague arc, and a faint orange light covered her hands. Since she obtained the orange blaze, she no longer hid the fact that she had a spirit flame, which was perfect to cover up the aura of the purple gold spirit flame. Boom! Just when everyone thought Lu Muyan would be torn to pieces by the claws of the dark soul beast, they saw that she not only didn't retreat, but instead advanced. A fist with soft orange light slammed out and faced the black scaled claws of the opponent directly. There was a kind of horror in the eerie green eyes of the dark soul beast. It didn't expect that the weak woman opposite could not only withstand its sharp claws, but also beat a destructive flame into its body through that punch. Ayo! The piercing pain made it wail. A cluster of orange flames flew up along its claws endlessly and stopped when it landed at its demonic soul. Seeing this, Lu Muyan leapt up immediately, punching the weak point of the dark soul beast's body one after another. Her figure constantly flashed in the air, and each time they appeared, the dark soul beast would inevitably receive attacks of fist wind. Ayo! Where was the domineering aura that the dark soul beast had when it first appeared before? It kept dodging. Each time it was bombarded, it would make a miserable cry, obviously beaten horribly by Lu Muyan. That woman's actually a body cultivator. A pupil of the vast mountain sect couldn't resist swallowing while watching the one-sided abusive beating in midair. Heavens! Junior sister Laos actually so violent. Peng Yang felt a chill on his back and decided inwardly that he would never provoke Lu Muyan. Gu Xiu went to the competition space, so he knew how strong Lu Muyan's body was, but he didn't expect that, towards the dark soul beast with an immortal body and a body whose toughness was comparable to a tier 8 demonic beast, she would not be outmatched. It truly blinded one's eyes. Jean Ses' eyes lit up, filled with admiration and excitement. Mighty junior sister. The pupils of the other sects dared not underestimate her ever since Lu Muyan broke the grade 5 soul locking array in just an incense stick of time. Now, seeing such a violent fighting style of hers, at the same time as it was eye-opening, a deep fear arose. All the leading pupils here, like Gu Xiu, found out the identity of the other party's pupils when they were at the inn. They knew that Lu Muyan was the number 1 in the Tianling Continental Tournament for hegemony, but they really didn't expect her combat power to be so strong. Ayo! The dark soul beast was in stabbing pain all over. It now found that this woman's fist was too powerful. Not only did it carry a kind of sword or a fist wind, but it also used spirit flames to protect the fist. If the spirit flame in its body wasn't forced out soon, it would probably be the end for it today. Suddenly, it stared with its eerie green eyes and looked at the purple-clothed man covered in golden light. The connection between owner and servant was completely cut off. It was overjoyed. It would no longer have to be controlled by that person in the future. With another punch, the dark soul beast was blasted more than 10 meters away. Its eyes turned in thought, then borrowing the force of that retrogression, it turned and ran away into the distance. Want to run? Not that easy. Lu Muyan huffed coldly and turned into a red light to chase after it. Come and read on our website, Wuxiao World site. Thanks inwardly, she couldn't help but praise this dark soul beast. It truly knew what she wanted. She was just thinking about how to avoid the eyes of the pupils of the six major sects and let Jun Luo Chen absorb and refine the Dark Soul Beast. But then it fled to the distance on his own, which was just as she desired. At this time, Lu Muyan's flash steps was at its completion, so she soon caught up with the Dark Soul Beast in a deserted, dense forest. With a thought, clusters of orange flames formed a flaming ribbon and flew out, instantly tying the Dark Soul Beast upright. Jun Luo Chun, you're still not going to come out for the supplement? Lu Muyan shouted. Before she could even finish, a black smoke emerged from her pendant around her neck, instantly enveloping the Dark Soul Beast. Not long after, Lu Muyan heard a desperate, shrill scream from the Dark Soul Beast. Then its body continued to shrink. When it was only the size of a palm, it was swept up by the black smoke and brought in her pendant. You finished devouring it just like this? Lu Muyan asked Jun Luo Chun. Jun Luo Chun in the pendant was still hidden in a black mist, his figure looming. Not so fast, but it's been sealed by me. You'll enjoy it slowly. Whatever you like. Since Lu Muyan had reached a cooperation with him, she naturally didn't care when he refined that Dark Soul Beast. After Jun Luo Chun brought the Dark Soul Beast into the pendant, she disappeared in the dense forest in a flash. When she returned to the top of the mountain, the man in purple had been killed by the golden light sword aura of Ming Xiao, as expected. Junior sister Lu, are you all right? Gu Xiao sighed with relief when he saw Lu Muyan return safely. If something happened to this little ancestor here, he would definitely be stripped alive of a layer of skin by Elder Ao and the sect leader. I'm fine. Lu Muyan smiled. Where's the Dark Soul Beast? Han, he asked curiously, looking behind her. Because the Dark Soul Beast was a living creature produced by refining the souls of humans or demonic beasts, so no matter which level it advanced to, it wouldn't be able to transform into a human. Moreover, the body of Een Soul Beast was actually made of endless dark evil force, which created the indestructible body. That is, it couldn't be killed by ordinary sword, auras, or magic tools. Lu Muyan came back, but the Dark Soul Beast disappeared. They wondered if she had killed it or not. Ran away. Lu Muyan shrugged and said helplessly. She chased out aggressively just now and returned after a long time. Now that she said the Dark Soul Beast ran away, no one would believe such an excuse. You didn't take the Dark Soul Beast all for yourself, did you? The excuse that it ran away is too fake. The leading pupil of the vast mountain sect thought and said, even though the Dark Soul Beast was conceived by a devil cultivator, but it was also of great help to sword cultivators who cultivated a righteous path. If one used its blood essence to refine one's body, it would be half the effort with double the results. Lu Muyan was prepared to find trouble for this pupil of the vast mountain sect to begin with, but who knew had come out first. She sneered. Her figure was like a ghost, disappearing in front of everyone, using her flash steps. The leading pupil of the vast mountain sect only felt that her eyes were too threatening. Then, after seeing her disappear, an ominous feeling rose in his heart that he had never felt before. His neck suddenly felt a chill. When Lu Muyan appeared in front of everyone again, she suddenly stood on the side of the leading pupil of the vast mountain sect and choked his neck with one hand. I didn't expect you to be so tall and big, but have such a thin neck. I wonder if ITLL make a sound of broken bones if it's crushed. Lu Muyan's stunning face bloomed with a smile as beautiful as a poppy. I like hearing the sound of bones cracking the most. How about everyone? One for a while now, perhaps the last dozen or so times it was mentioned, the author's actually been using Extreme Frost Golden Crystal as opposed to Heavenly Frost Golden Crystal. But I'm going to keep it as Heavenly since that's what the author used when it was first mentioned. Whether the author corrected it and intends to use this new one from now on, or the author forgot what was used prior, they'll take the liberty to keep Heavenly instead of changing it to Extreme. The author did make a few mistakes before when the Heavenly Frost Golden Essence was first mentioned, using the word instead of, but it's always been corrected. However, from the looks of it, the author might be using the word from now on, but will be translating it to Heavenly still. Chapter 370. Beat to the ground, seeing that Lu Muyan's body technique made her move like a ghost as she suddenly grabbed the neck of the leading pupil of the vast mountain sect, smiling beautifully and movingly, but say such words that made one's scalp numb. The pupils of the several sects didn't know how to describe their mood at this time. "Junior sister, I haven't heard the sound of a broken neck before. How about you give a try?" Jinsei smiled enchantingly, lest the world not be chaotic. Demonis, the women of the 8 Extremes sect were all lunatics. At this time, the pupils of the several sects secretly made up their minds to never ever offend the pupils of the 8 Extremes sect. Jinsei beat up a pupil of the vast mountain sect half to death last time. This beauty, named Lu Mu Yin, looked even more ruthless. "Why you dare?" The leading pupil of the vast mountain sect only felt that Lu Mu Yan's hand was clasping tighter and tighter. He couldn't breathe as fear rose in his heart. "Our 6 sects are here to complete a mission. You can't kill me." Lu Mu Yan's lips curled into a smile, her voice soft. "Oh yeah, now we're completing a 6 sects joint mission, so I indeed can't kill you." She took her hand away from the pupil's neck, took out a piece of silk from her sleeve, wiped it, and tossed it away. Seeing this, the leading pupil's eyes were filled with anger, but he didn't say anything harsh. "But although I can't kill you, it doesn't mean I can't beat you up." Lu Mu Yin curbed her smile, then huffed coldly. "I've been thinking you're very unpleasant to my eyes for a long time. Since you want to send yourself to my door to beat you up, then you're also looking for it." The vast mountain sect's leading pupil froze and didn't think that Lu Mu Yan's face would flip so quickly. He only said one word when a punch landed at his face. Lu Mu Yan didn't cover her hands with spirit flames. She couldn't kill during a 6 sects mission. If she killed or crippled him, it would inevitably lead to deeper conflicts between the 2 sects. But it was still very necessary for him to be beaten half to death and lie down for at least 2 months. The vast mountain sect was a sect that focused on body refining to begin with. When Lu Mu Yin threw the first punch, the pupil hadn't reacted, but when she threw the second punch, the pressure of his whole body exploded, and his body swelled rapidly. He caught Lu Mu Yan's fist with his palm and sneered proudly. "Do you really think you can hurt me? My cultivation base is an entire stage higher than yours." Being able to become the inner pupil of the vast mountain sect and the leader of this mission, he naturally wasn't some useless person. Lu Mu Yan's eyes curled with fighting intent. "Really? Then after I beat you to the point where you can't even get up, let's see if you have the face to say such things." "Humph, bold words, you are too arrogant." The leading pupil was furious. "I'm just arrogant. What can you do to me?" Lu Mu Yin narrowed her eyes and smiled brightly. Then, she disappeared in a flash, and everyone only saw her figure constantly appearing around the pupil of the vast mountain sect. It even seemed that dozens of figures were punching and bombarding him at the same time. Junior sister's movements are really amazing. Jinsei looked at Lu Mu Yin with amazement. A rare smile appeared on Peng Yang's face. Her body is even stronger than that of the pupils of the vast mountain sect. This junior sister really hides well. Guxiu had seen Lu Mu Yin beat people up on the crystal wall in the competition space. He used to think she was too violent, but now he felt very pleased watching her beat up the pupil of the vast mountain sect. He wasn't the only one who thought this way. The several pupils of the 8 Extremes sect all felt that Lu Mu Yan's beating was very good. Standing not far away, hugging the golden sword in his arms, Ming Xiu watched Lu Mu Yin beat him up with a smile in his eyes. Even he didn't notice the doting within them. At the beginning, the leading pupil could still take a few fists from Lu Mu Yin, but as time went on, her ghostly figure became faster and faster, and his reaction was always a beat slower. Come and read on our website, Wuxiao World site. Thanks, and what did it mean when one's reaction was slower 1 beat during a battle? If it wasn't death, then it was to be beaten. Screams after screams came from his mouth. After a while, everyone saw Lu Mu Yin beating the vast mountain sect's pupil to the ground. He no longer had the strength to fight back, and only kept screaming, but she was relentless. She didn't use any elemental energy and merely punched the opponent's weak spot punch after punch which would not only cause the opponent to hurt for 2 months, but absolutely no injuries could be seen either. Seeing this, the other pupils of the vast mountain sect all took a deep breath and glanced at each other. If their senior brother was beaten to death by Lu Mu Yin, and they returned all unharmed, they would probably be severely punished by the sect. Junior sister Lu, aren't you belittling the vast mountain sect too much by doing this? A pupil, enduring the gaze of many people, walked up to Lu Mu Yin and said bravely. Lu Mu Yin stopped what she was doing, stepped on the pupil's back, and crushed it heavily. She turned her head and looked at the person who opened their mouth with a smile and raised an eyebrow as she asked, "Why? Do you want to take his place?" That pupil shrank his neck. Even senior brother wasn't this demoness opponent. He'd be crazy to take his place and be beaten. What I mean is our six sect came to complete a mission together. It'll be hard to explain if you beat our senior brother to death when we return. You would also need to explain when you return to the sect. How about you just let him go? He was also telling the truth. If Lu Mu Yin really killed the leading pupil of their vast mountain sect this time, she would definitely be severely punished when she returned. After all, in the past, the pupils of the 6 major sects only killed each other in places like secret realms where people wouldn't be able to see each other. It was absolutely forbidden to kill each other in public. Lu Mu Yin smiled beautifully. Who said I'm going to kill him? I just want to learn some body refining skills from this senior brother. We're just exchanging pointers. Are your eyes not that good that you can't even see that? She had a smile on her face, but her voice was as cool as the night. Exchanging pointers, of course it's exchanging pointers. That pupil looked down at his senior brother's tragic state and decided that it was still best not to offend this demoness. Otherwise, he'd be the one who would turn into a pig's head. Lu Mu Yin gave him a look as if to say he was wise and said with a smile, "Senior brother's eyes are indeed good. You can take him away." She retrieved her foot and sighed with disappointment. "I thought I could learn a little more, but who knew that he's that weak? Truly a disappointment." Hearing her words, the corners of the other sect's pupils' lips couldn't help but twitch. Did you think that everyone's as abnormally monstrous as you? The pupils of the vast mountain sect finally sighed with relief when they heard her words. They quickly fed a healing pill to the leading pupil to cure his internal injuries and help the already comatose person to the side, far away from Lu Mu Yin, for fear that the moment she became unhappy, she'd come back to make up a few kicks. Junior sister beat him up well. They're just scumbags who need a lesson. Jinsei swept the pupils of the vast mountain sect with a sharp gaze and said with a smile, "Lu Mu Yin beating up that person made them very happy, and her affection for her rose a little more. Senior sister is right. Fists are the hard truths." Lu Mu Yin returned with a smile. The other pupils really wanted to just kneel for these two peerlessly beautiful women with different temperaments who were discussing such violent things. The 8 Extreme sect really was a place where demonesses all came out from, each of them extremely fierce. Brother Chi, the missing pupils of the several major sects have already been found. Should we head back to the sect to report this matter? Gu Xiu immediately stepped forward to ask Ming Xiu in order to distract the others' attention from Lu Mu Yin. Ming Xiu waved his hand and said with a smile, "This matter has come to an end. You can all leave first if you want to go back and hand in the mission." Chapter 371. Anomalous phenomena appears. The pupils of the several major sects had their own thoughts when they heard that there was something more in Ming Xiu's words. Since the mission has been completed, our vast mountain sect will take our leave first. A pupil of the vast mountain sect cupped his hands and said to the pupils of the other sects, no matter what the heavenly secret palace wanted to do, they had no intention of getting involved. Their vast mountain sect had suffered the most this time, and they were simply unable to continue to complete missions. The most important thing right now was to bring their senior brother and their unconscious pupils back to the sect. All right, be careful along the way. Ming Xiu nodded with a light smile. After the pupils of the vast mountain sect left, the pupils of the other sects were also a little unable to stand still. Han, he had a more direct temperament, so he leaned over to Ming Xiu and asked with a smile, "Brother Chi, you want to stay here?" "Yes." Our heavenly secret palace isn't going to leave right now. Mingxiu didn't deny either. Brother Qi, how about telling us what your plans are? He continued to ask, and the other pupils pricked up their ears to listen. Mingxiu looked in the direction of the Dark Soul Beast and said, although one leader of the Devil Cultivators has been killed by us, but we don't know if there are any more other Devil Cultivators still hiding in Falling Ghost River, and that Dark Soul Beast also escaped. I'm afraid it might continue to make trouble, so I'm prepared to go look for it, then return to the sect. So that's how it is. Since that's the case, it wouldn't be good for us to leave. Let's investigate the Devil Cultivators together. Hani pondered for a while before saying, sure. Mingxiu didn't refuse either. Hani's reaction was as he expected. The pupils of the Sword sect didn't leave, while the pupils of the other sects were naturally unable to leave immediately upon hearing them, and they all expressed that they wanted to remain to investigate. All the missing pupils of the 6 major sects were now rescued. This time, the 5 remaining sect pupils didn't split up and instead searched together in the mountains. Lu Mu Yin glanced at the cliff at the top of the mountain and saw that the sky above the cliff was shrouded in a layer of dark mist while a chill emerged from the bottom of the cliff. She furrowed her willow brows and asked Jun Luo Chun in the pendant, do you know that dark evil cliff? My main soul had always been in the land of inheritance before, so I don't know much about this interface. Jun Luo Chun paused, then said, however, the dark evil force spreading from that dark evil cliff is extremely strong. It's difficult for even a devil cultivator to deeply cultivate in it. You better not target the dark evil cliff. Although you have your spirit flame, but your cultivation base is too low. If you forcefully go to the bottom of the cliff, you may lose your consciousness in the dark evil force. He added. Lu Mu Yin chuckled and asked meaningfully, why do you think I'm interested in the dark evil cliff? When have you, woman, ever lived in peace? Although the dark evil cliff is very dangerous, but there would definitely birth many good things at the bottom of the cliff. Jun Luo Chun joked, with your temperament, it's already pretty good that you can endure until now and not go. Lu Mu Yin rolled her eyes. You sure know me well. She really did have that thought. There must be a lot of spiritual herbs suitable for refining high-level pills, as well as spiritual items, under the cliff with dense dark evil force. Most importantly, if she infused the dark evil into her body to temper her muscles and bones, her sorcerer's skill she cultivated could definitely grow stronger a layer, and it would be much easier to break through the bottleneck. It was just that with her current cultivation base, she indeed couldn't enter into the bottom of the dark evil cliff, and this matter still needed long-term planning. Don't tell me you really wanted to go down? Jun Luo Chin's voice revealed surprise. Come and read on our website, Wuxiao World site. Thanks, rubbish, of course. But not now. I'll try it when I advance to Sword Venerable. Lu Mu Yin said carefreely. The corner of Jun Luo Chin's lips twitched, and he said speechlessly, you're a crazy woman. If there was no special method to resist the erosion of the dark force, even if a sword saint came, they would be trapped in it. However, he remembered that he had seen many of Lu Mu Yan's methods while staying in the pendant. Maybe she really had a way to go down to the bottom of the cliff. After all, this woman shouldn't be seen as a normal person. He rubbed his chin and hooked his lips upwards in an anticipating arc. If this woman really came to the dark evil cliff to search for spiritual herbs, he could use the dark evil force there to completely transform his main soul into a ghost cultivator. Mingxiu led the pupils of the 5 sects to search around the dark evil cliff for 2 days, and they found no trace of the devil cultivators anymore. That one dark soul beast that had already entered Jun Luo Chin's stomach naturally couldn't be found. Then they inspected the other 2 mountains and found that there were still many wandering cultivators and mercenaries going missing, but the 5 sects didn't meet any devil cultivators, so the opponents must be avoiding them deliberately. 5 days later, countless colorful rays of light suddenly fell from the sky above the falling Ghost River, and a black light from the bottom of dark evil cliff shot straight into the sky. A spectacular scene. Anyone who wasn't far from falling Ghost River all discovered the anomalous phenomenon. In a deep mountain, A man in black leaned against a big tree with his eyes closed, resting. When the anomalous phenomena appeared, he immediately opened his eyes, a gaze like blazing torches. As it finally began to conceive and give birth, he murmured to himself, then disappeared in place. On the only path not far from the falling Ghost River, a group of people were currently on their way. When they saw the countless rays of light falling from the sky, they were overjoyed. "Your Royal Highness, the obsidian fluorite will soon be born," a white-haired elderly man said to the man in blue above. The blue-clothed man's deep eyes glowed with a deep blue light, and an arc raised on his lips. National Teacher's prediction ability is getting more and more accurate. It is not in vain that this king has been lurking in this small interface for a few years. "This old servant will congratulate your Royal Highness first." The white-clothed elderly man's cultivation base was obviously much higher than the blue-clothed man on the surface, but he was very respectful to him. The blue-clothed man's general appearance didn't change at all. This time, I heard that the 6 major sects have also sent a lot of elite pupils to come to complete a mission, and a lot of the devil cultivators lurking on Tianling continent have also been dispatched. I'm afraid it's not that easy for me to snatch the obsidian fluorite. The strength of the 6 major sects' elite pupils compared to our party is vastly different, and they are not our opponents. If those old fellows came, then we may need to be afraid a little. The white-clothed elderly man continued carefreely. As for the hidden devil cultivators, there may be high-level ones hiding, but this interface can suppress the strength of our cultivation base, so at the same time, they wouldn't be able to escape. I believe that the obsidian fluorite will eventually still fall into your Royal Highness' hands. The blue-clothed man had a determined smile on his lips. This king is only here for the obsidian fluorite. That's why I projected an avatar onto this small interface. Naturally, failure isn't allowed. He raised his eyes and looked at the falling Ghost River not far away, and a strange feeling rose in his heart. The pupils of the 5 major sects had absolutely no idea that there were 2 waves of powerful enemies rushing to falling Ghost River at this time, and they were all excited when they saw the anomalous phenomena. This kind of anomalous phenomena is the harbinger of the birth of a spiritual item. The leading pupil of the medicine sect said, with bright eyes. Han, he had a look of interest. I didn't expect that staying a few more days to investigate the devil cultivators would allow us to encounter such kind of good luck. I wonder what sort of spiritual item will be born to have such a strong, anomalous phenomena appear. Guxiu's eyes were filled with anticipation. Lu Mu-yin swept the expressions of the surrounding pupils with her gaze. They were so excited right now, but she wondered how shocked they would be when they arrived at the falling Ghost River and large numbers of devil cultivators or other forces came to compete for the spiritual herbs, or simply how many of them would still be alive. Chapter 372. 3 parties gathered. The pupils of the 5 major sects were all excited, and they began to be fearful and wary of each other. After all, if any high-level spiritual items were born, the pupils of their 5 sects would definitely not be able to cooperate as harmoniously as they were now, and they would inevitably contend for it. Brother Qi, do you think we should go to the falling Ghost River? Han, he asked Ming Xiu for advice with a smile. Hearing Han's question, the other pupils also looked at Ming Xiu. Although this mission was a 6 major sects joint mission, but the Heavenly Secret Palace was at the head of the 6 major sects. Ming Xiu was also the most powerful existence among them, so everyone basically considered him the leader. Of course we will go there, but there's something I need to make clear. Ming Xiu's smile was very light. The leading pupil of the medicine sect asked, Brother Qi, please speak. When we arrive at Falling Ghost River, if there really is some spiritual item born, everyone will snatch it on their own, and whoever snatches it will be whose, but we are not allowed to kill each other. Ming Xiu swept the leaders of the several sects present with a sharp gaze. All right, the others replied without hesitation. What Ming Xiu said was exactly what the pupils of the several sects thought. After all, if there really was a peak-quality spiritual item being born, no one would want to give it to the people of the other sects. The smile on Lu Muyan's lips was even deeper. This was very good. The group didn't hesitate any longer and quickly rushed towards Falling Ghost River. When they arrived at Falling Ghost River, they saw countless colorful clouds hanging above the dark river water. The transparent black mist that was born was entwined in layers, and a fragrant scent spread from the water. It was indescribably eerie. What kind of spiritual item is it that it actually triggers such anomalous phenomena? Gushio looked at the anomalous phenomena opposite the river in surprise. Yeah, but don't you think it's strange? The leading pupil of the Spirit Tamers sect said solemnly. What's so strange? Hani asked. The pupil of the Spirit Tamers sect looked around and said, each time a spiritual item is born, there will be no shortage of demonic beasts to snatch it wildly. At least there would be one powerful demonic beast to guard it. But right now, we don't see anything. Hearing him say that, everyone also felt it strange, wondering if this wasn't actually the birth of a spiritual item. If they knew that there was already a Tier 9 demonic beast sleeping underwater, I wonder if they would quickly escape right now. Mo Yan's light eyes flashed indifferently. Lu Mu Yan rubbed her chin and said, Tier 9 demonic beasts are a body of treasures, and their demonic core could refine a lot of pills. The eyes of Meow Meow and her other spirit pets couldn't help but light up when they heard this. There's a Tier 9 demonic beast king in this river, so even if there is a spiritual item being born with this anomalous phenomena, the other demonic beasts wouldn't dare step into its territory to compete with him. Ming Xiu said leisurely. The 6 sects were on a mission together, so he wouldn't watch most of these people from the other sects go die. So he reminded them first. What? A Tier 9 demonic beast? The others were startled. One must know that the strength of a Tier 9 demonic beast was comparable to that of a Sword Saint powerhouse. Most importantly, a Tier 9 demonic beast was capable of refining their own natal magic tool, could cultivate demonic methods, and the combat power exerted by many demonic beasts was even stronger than that of same-level Sword Saint powerhouses. Brother Qi, you mean to say that there are no demonic beasts gathered here mainly because of the deterrent effect of the Tier 9 demonic beast underwater? Gushio thought about it and asked. Ming Xiu nodded, yes. This water demon of Falling Ghost River is a king, although he's still sleeping, but no demonic beast dares to set foot in its territory. Waking him up will only result in the path to death. That Tier 9 demonic beast is probably sleeping here to guard the spiritual herb. Hani's expression changed again and again. If high-level spiritual items were discovered by demonic beasts before their birth, then they would stay where they were and not let other demonic beasts have the opportunity to take them away. The level of a spiritual herb that could be guarded by a Tier 9 demonic beast was also at least Earth rank. It was just a pity that their cultivation base was too low. If they wanted to snatch food from the Tier 9 demonic beast, it was basically impossible. Come and read on our website, Wuxiao World site. Thanks, the pupils of the other sects also looked hopeless. The guardian demonic beast of Tier 9 was something they simply couldn't match. How about we send a message to the sect and let the elders of Sword Saint level come over? The pupil of the medicine sect suggested. Ming Xiu thought about it, then said, sounds good. Spiritual items were only born for a day at most, and it was useless even to wait for the elders of the 5 major sects to come. However, when the time came, it could also distract the attention of those old fellows. Hearing Ming Xiu's approval, the pupils of the 5 sects immediately took out their communication talismans and activated it. Then what do we do now? Hani asked. Wait. Ming Xiu just said one word. Half a day later, countless clouds fell over Falling Ghost River, and dozens of black beams of light shot directly into the sky. The spiritual item is soon to be born. The pupils of the several major sects all stood up and looked not far away. Suddenly, a group of people in black emerged from the mountain forest on one side, and the leader was the person Lu Mu Yin and the others met last time. With just your abilities, you also want to compete for the obsidian fluorite? The black-clothed man in the lead had a stern expression, and his whole person exuded a chilling aura. Although his aura was restrained, one could still feel his powerful aura. Sword Saint powerhouse. The pupils of the 5 major sects couldn't help sucking in a deep breath inwardly. Gu Xiu had a solemn expression, and he turned his head to Lu Mu Yin and the others, saying telepathically, "This devil cultivator is an advanced phase sword saint. Run away when you see the opportunity." Jin Se and the several people agreed one after another. An advanced phase sword saint wasn't in existence they could shake at all. They could kill them all with one move. Lu Mu Yin narrowed her eyes and telepathically said to Mo Yin, "It seems that we'll need to use that secret skill to deal with what happens next." She had the ability to skip stage battle. She was now an advanced phase sword sovereign, so it wasn't a big problem to kill a peak phase sword venerable with all her strength. But if she was against a sword saint, then she could only be beaten. Of course, it was still possible to escape from the hands of sword saint, but with her current strength, she could only do as much. If she used Mo Yan's secret skill, however, she could barely just fight a sword saint. "Your honor is Shun Mu Feng, right?" Ming Xiu looked at the man in black hugging his golden sword and didn't show a look of terror like the other pupils. The man in black casually raised his head and said, "How did you know?" "Your honor is ranked 10th on the most wanted rankings from the 6 major sects. As long as the pupils have accepted the mission to kill you, they will see your portrait," Ming Xiu said pointedly. Shin Mu Feng raised an eyebrow. "So you've already accepted the mission of chasing and killing me?" "Indeed. Your honor's head is worth 100,000 sect contribution points, so I naturally wouldn't miss this opportunity." Ming Xiu's thin lips parted lightly, his expression indifferent. The others looked at him in surprise when they heard what Ming Xiu said, wondering if he took the wrong medicine. He was indeed a sword venerable, and also heard that he had the ability to skip stage battle. The half-saint who was killed by him before was an example, but the one standing opposite was an advanced phase sword saint devil cultivator. If they were that easy to kill, the 6 major sects wouldn't have ranked him as the 10th person on their wanted rankings to pursue and kill. But was Ming Xiu a fool, or took the wrong medicine? Obviously not possible. It seemed that they all underestimated the strength of this number 1 genius pupil of the Heavenly Secret Palace's inner sect. This was what the pupils of the 6 major sects all thought. "Ah!" Suddenly, a pleasant-sounding, gentle male voice sounded from behind. "It seems that I'm not too late. I arrived just in time to watch this good show." Chapter 373. Instigation. Hearing this gentle male voice, everyone looked behind. A handsome, warm-looking young man walked towards them with a team of people. He was wearing a blue robe, which made him look even more elegant and tall. His entire body carried a gentle feeling, like a spring breeze, and it was easy for one to only care about his temperament and ignore his cultivation base. As soon as Lu Mu Yin turned around, she met the other's pair of blue eyes, which were deep and clear, like they were carved from the best spar in the world. Lan Si. Although the other party had changed a lot in both temperament and appearance, but she still recognized him at a glance. Lan Si saw Lu Mu Yin wearing a red robe that wrapped around her beautiful figure, still filled with the same elegance as when she wore her purple clothes, but with a little more of a valiant feeling. "Little Yinner, I didn't expect us to meet again." Lan Si didn't show any surprise that Lu Mu Yin was a pupil of the 8 Extremes sect and appeared here. He knew her information well. Lu Mu Yin furrowed her brows slightly. "I'm not that familiar with you." She knew that Lan Si's gentle and elegant skin was definitely a disguise, and his identity wasn't as simple from beginning to end. It now seemed that she had guessed correctly. "We went to the Glacial Mountain Range together to participate in the trial. Why is it that you turn around and become so alienated from me? It truly hurts my heart." Lan Si's handsome appearance was filled with grievances, as if he had been an abandoned little daughter-in-law. Lu Mu Yin rolled her eyes at him speechlessly and didn't reply. She didn't bother to care about this fox. Meanwhile, the people behind Lan Si twitched the corners of their mouths in complete astonishment. They had never seen His Royal Highness get along with any woman like this before. What? The sea race also wants to share some porridge? Shin Mu Feng's expression grew a little grim when he saw Lan Si bringing people here. If it was just a Ming Xiu, he would still have confidence in killing him and snatching the obsidian fluorite. But if the people of the sea race were included, then it would be a big problem. When Gu Xiao and the others heard Shen Mu Feng say sea race, their expressions changed instantly. There was a sea kingdom in the northernmost sea region of Tianling continent. There it was a world of the sea race. The sea race was very strong, and they would fight with the human sword masters every century. They obviously didn't expect that the people of the sea race who were so far away would actually come to the falling Ghost River. They guessed that the spiritual item in the falling Ghost River couldn't only be at Earth rank, and was most likely at Heaven rank. Otherwise, the Sword Saints of the Devil race and Sea race wouldn't come here on purpose. Gu Xiao walked beside Lu Mu Yin and asked in a whisper, "You know the Sword Saint of the Sea race?" "I do. He used to be an instructor lurking in the Empire Academy of Yinzhou Kingdom. I didn't expect him to be a member of the Sea race either." Lu Mu Yin furrowed her brows deeply. She used to think that Lan Si had an extraordinary origin and that his cultivation base was deliberately sealed by himself, but she didn't expect him to be a member of the Sea race. Most importantly, they hadn't seen each other for 2 years, but Lan Si's cultivation base had reached peak phase Sword Saint, and there were 2 Sword Saints and 5 Sword Venerables in the group of the Sea race people behind him. It would be trickier to snatch the obsidian fluorite now. So if it seems that Little Beauty and the people of the Sea race have a very close relationship. An arc of a smile rose on Shen Mu Feng's stern face, and he looked at Lu Mu Yin, saying, "I was just saying how I looked forward to meeting next time, but I didn't expect us to see each other so soon." Lu Mu Yin glanced at Shen Mu Feng coldly. Was this damned man trying to sow discord between her and the 5 major sex pupils? What did it mean by that she had a close relationship with the people of the Sea race? What did he mean by looking forward to their next meeting? Wasn't this obviously saying that she was colluding with the Sea race and the Devil race? "Yeah, I've also been looking forward to seeing you." She smiled sweetly, but there was no warmth in her eyes, and she continued, "You're worth 100,000 contribution points. If I kill you, there will be no shortage of cultivation resources when I return." Shen Mu Feng was stunned for a moment, then laughed aloud. "Good. Since my life is that valuable, if you have the ability, then feel free to take it. Come and read on our website, Wuxiao World site." Thanks TSK Tisk, Little Yinner actually lacks set contribution points that much. Lan Si walked lightly towards Lu Mu Yin, placed his face close, and said, "How about I help you kill him?" Lu Mu Yin glanced at Lan Si coldly. A golden light emerged from her sleeve, and Lan Si's pupils constricted as he dodged quickly. Boom! A huge tree behind him was immediately split in half by the golden light. "Stay far away from me," Lu Mu Yin said with disgust. Seeing a slender golden needle returning to her sleeve, Lan Si narrowed his eyes. "Little Yinner is so cruel. If I took a step too late, I would have become the dead soul under your needle." "Enough nonsense. Talk about your purpose." Lu Mu Yin rolled her eyes. Lan Si chuckled. "We naturally came for the obsidian fluorite. Shen Mu Feng is also here for the obsidian fluorite. Can you beat him?" Lu Mu Yin blinked and said, "Since the pupils of our 5 sects aren't strong enough, then we won't bother. You guys can play slowly. The obsidian fluorite is about to be born. I wonder which side will get it first. It's truly enviable." She glanced at the 2 and added, Ming Xiu's eyes that were as deep as the sea swept across Lan Si with coldness. The projected avatar of the South Sea King from one of the 4 sea races? He saw the deep interest in Lu Mu Yin and Lan Si's eyes, and a killing intent rose in his heart. So what about the avatar of the South Sea King? If he dared to covet his woman, he would let Lan Si know that there were some people that he shouldn't think of. "Little Yinner, you sowing discord is too obvious. You want us to fight until we're both severely injured, then let you, the fisherman, benefit one?" Lan Si knew Lu Mu Yin's temperament very well. This little fox wanted to do something bad again. Lu Mu Yin looked at him with a look as if to say, "You've discovered the truth," and said, "That's exactly it. So, are you going to fight? Could it be that you want to cooperate to divide up the obsidian fluorite? Actually, that's not a bad idea for the both of you." The pupils of the 5 major sects couldn't resist but twitch their eyelids when they heard her give them ideas. Just which side was she standing with? If the Sword Saints of the Sea race really joined forces and eventually divided the obsidian fluorite, then wouldn't they be in danger? Shen Mu Feng and Lan Si looked at Lu Mu Yin, who was smiling like a flower and couldn't help twitching the corners of their lips. She must have said this because she knew it was absolutely impossible for them to cooperate. We Devil race and the Sea race have always been at odds with each other, so let's not cooperate. Shen Mu Feng continued. But little beauty, it'll also be impossible for you to profit as the fisherman. Then you can fight first, don't worry about us. Lu Mu Yin urged. After the fight, you'll be eligible to compete for the obsidian fluorite. Both the Sea race and the Devil race wanted to swallow the obsidian fluorite for themselves. It was inevitable to fight. Right now, both sides had powerful Sword Saint powerhouses. Shi and Ming Xiao belonged to the disadvantageous group, so of course, they must attack accurately with one shot. Lan Si and Shen Mu Feng were both rather cautious and fearful of each other. Both of them were avatars projected onto this interface, and even if Lan Si's cultivation base was stronger, but they would still be a match when they fought. For the obsidian fluorite, they had no other choice but to fight. They both lurked on this small interface for the sake of the obsidian fluorite, so naturally no mistakes were allowed. Lan Si, do you dare to fight me? Shen Mu Feng raised an eyebrow and asked, what's there to not dare? Let me experience some methods of the Devil race's holy son. Lan Si's fighting spirit was high. The Devil race and the Sea race confronted each other, and both wanted to kill the other side first, then swallow the obsidian fluorite for themselves in a bit. Meanwhile, Lu Mu Yin and the pupils of the other 5 major sects were completely ignored by them. A group of sword venerable cultivation pupils only, they wouldn't care about them. Seeing how the two parties quickly fought together, the pupils of the 5 major sects were completely dumbfounded. The two teams really listened to Lu Mu Yan's instigation and started fighting. When it comes from the well-known Chinese idiom, which means, literally, when the snipe and clam grapple, it's the fishermen who stand to benefit. Chapter 374. Affected. In addition to Shen Mu Feng, there were also 3 hidden sword saints among the devil cultivators. At this time, when the sword saints of the Sea race were besieging them, they had to quickly show up to resist. The two sides immediately formed a battle circle. Each attack, each method of Shen Mu Feng and Lan Si, carried the power of destroying the heavens and earth. The two slashed at each other, and one side of the peak of the mountain was cut in half. Peng Yang looked at the surrounding battlefield in shock and said to Gu Xiao, they actually really started fighting because of what junior sister Lu said. Lu Mu Yin glanced at him and said, it's not that they listened to my words and started fighting, but because they were bound to have this fight. It was just because of my words that they did it earlier. If she hadn't just asked Shen Mu Feng and Lan Si to compete with each other before the birth of the obsidian fluorite, then the two parties would probably have waited until the real birth of the obsidian fluorite to attack. No matter what, if a powerhouse died from one of the two parties, it would count as one powerhouse gone, so it would be beneficial to them. When the two sides fought, because their cultivation base was too strong, with just any sword auras, it would spread and affect the pupils of the 5 sects. Some of the weaker pupils couldn't help but spit out some blood when being shocked by the energy. Brother Qi, what should we do now? Hani pressed his lips together and looked at Ming Xiao. At this time, the pupils of the 5 sects all pinned their hopes on Ming Xiao. Otherwise, if they just stood here and didn't move, they were afraid their lives would be affected. Ming Xiao didn't want the pupils of the 5 sects to fall here either, so he quickly took out a set of array flags and moved them to an open space far away from Falling Ghost River, then quickly arranged them. Then he waved his hand, and thousands of low-quality spiritual stones fell into the soil around the array. His hands constantly changed, and countless transparent runes flew out of his palms and entered the array. Rise, he shouted, and a solid defense array was successfully constructed. You can all hide in the array, Ming Xiao said to the pupils of the several sects after arranging the array. Currently, among the pupils of the 5 sects, even the leaders like Gu Xiao were affected a lot. Their hearts and lungs were severely squeezed by the might of the Sword Saints, and they quickly leapt into the array. Only Lu Muyin stood unmoving. After all the pupils of the 5 sects entered the array, Ming Xiu recited a few words, and a golden array flag spun up and slowly unfolded in midair. A layer of soft golden light fell into the array little by little, and the transparent runes and golden light merged to form an indestructible light cover. This was a grade 5 highest level defensive array. Even if a Sword Saint powerhouse used their full strength attack, it would take 3 days to blast it open, so it was more than enough to resist the aftermath of the battle between the Sword Saints. "Junior Sister Lu, why are you still standing there? Coming quickly." After Jean Sei entered the array, she discovered that Lu Muyin was still far away and shouted urgently. Gu Xiu and the others also looked at her anxiously and said, "Junior Sister Lu, come in quickly." Hearing the voices of the several people, Lu Muyin turned around and saw their anxious expressions. A hint of warmth rose in her heart. She smiled and said, "I won't come in. I have something to do." "You're crazy. Even we can't resist the residual energy of the Sword Saints battle. Coming quickly." Gu Xiu's expression was cold and stern. In his eyes, Lu Muyin was just mucking around. Ming Xiu chuckled. "Junior Sister Lu is standing here unscathed right now, proving that she isn't afraid of the effects of the battle between Sword Saints. Brother Gu doesn't need to worry." Now wasn't the time to expose his relationship with Lu Muyin, so they pretended not to be very familiar with each other. Senior brothers and senior sisters, don't worry. I know my limits." Lu Muyin turned on her elemental energy shield and said to the several people calmly, "Come and read on our website, Wuxiao World site." Thanks to several people didn't have a deep relationship with her, but from their recent interactions, they also knew that this junior sister's temperament appeared gentle and soft on the surface, but she was actually very headstrong and indifferent. No one could change her decision. "Then be careful. Come in quickly if something happens," Gu Xiu said with slight worry. He, himself, admired Lu Muyin, this person. Her talent and temperament were all extraordinary that even he, as a proud child of heaven, had to admire her. She was already a grade 5 array master before she was even 20 years old. Among the 6 major sects, such talent was probably only attained by Ming Xiu, and he also had the heart to love talents. Another point was that Lu Muyin was a genius pupil that the sect leader and several elders attached great importance to. If she was lost here, they wouldn't be able to explain at all when they returned. "All right," Lu Muyin nodded, then turned her attention to the battle between Lan Si and Shun Mufeng. The 5 sect pupils who entered the array saw Lu Muyin leap onto a big tree and lean on the tree trunk with her arms folded, calmly watching the battle in the distance, and couldn't help but twitch the corners of their lips. Why was it that they, whose cultivation base was higher than her, would be affected and deeply injured by the battle between Sword Saints and be in such a sorry state? Yet she was completely unscathed. There were only 2 possibilities. One was that her cultivation base wasn't high, but her strength had far surpassed them, while 2, she had a high-level defense type, Saint Treasure, on her, so she wasn't afraid of the impact of the battles between Sword Saints. Between the cases, they automatically chose to believe the latter. After all, Lu Muyin had only been in the sect for a year and was only at Sword Sovereign cultivation base. She only successfully violently beat the leading pupil of the Vast Mountain sect last time because her body was stronger. They knew that Lu Muyin was very strong, but they never thought that she could surpass all the pupils present. She stared intently at the 2 people in front of her. The other pupils quickly returned to their senses and turned their attention to the Sword Saint battle. They benefited a lot from being able to watch the battle between Sword Saints at a close range. They were scared and worried about their lives earlier before, so they didn't have the heart to watch carefully, but now that they were protected by Ming Xiu's array, watching it was also more relaxing. Ming Xiu looked indifferently at the 2 who were fighting, estimating the time inwardly. Pupu. Suddenly, one after another, water columns spewed up from the falling Ghost River, dissipating all the water mist curling around the river. Shun Mufeng was just stabbed in the chest by a sword, and a wound with open flesh and blood was revealed. The obsidian fluorite is born. He ignored the wound on his body with glee in his eyes. He tossed a handful of black powder on Lan Si, then turned into a black light and rushed towards a falling ghost river. Lan Si narrowed his eyes, flipped his palm, and a cluster of ice-blue flames burned the black powder into black smoke along the river. He didn't hesitate either and plunged into the falling ghost river, closely following. At this time, after the battle just now, the powerhouses of the sea race and the devil race both suffered losses, and both sides even lost a sword saint powerhouse. Both sides fought so hard that they only stopped when they saw the two disappear into the river, then instantly followed into the falling ghost river. Their goals were the obsidian fluorite. Since the outcome hadn't been determined earlier, then they would settle it underwater. Ming Xiao and Lu Mu Yin glanced at each other and tacitly exchanged an expression. You can all stay in the array to recover your injuries that were caused by the remnant energy earlier and wait for the elders of the 5 sects to arrive. They'll leave for a bit. Ming Xiao said to the people in the array. Then he disappeared in place, plunging into the water. Lu Mu Yin gave Jin Se and the others a reassuring smile, then jumped into the falling ghost river without hesitation. Chapter 375. Space at the bottom of the river at this time. The water of the falling ghost river was dark and dull, and a strange fragrance emerged from the water. As soon as Lu Mu Yin entered the water, she was embraced by a warm body. Then a golden elemental energy shield enveloped the two of them, and they continued to sink towards the bottom of the river. Are we going to go down now, or wait for them to fight a bit first? Lu Mu Yin looked up and asked. Ming Xiao kissed her forehead and said, go down. Among them, only Shun Mufeng and Lan Si are a little tricky. Lu Mu Yin's gaze deepened. If Ming Xiao dared say such a thing, then he must have a way to deal with it. All right. The two of them dived all the way to the bottom of the river, and the scent grew stronger and stronger. Lu Mu Yin's eyes lit up. When the obsidian fluorite was born, the stronger the fragrance, the higher its quality, and there may even be obsidian fluorite essence being born. Roar! A loud roar suddenly sounded from the bottom of the river, and the entire falling ghost river and the surrounding mountains shook. The pupils of the 5 sects in the array watched in horror as the mountains in the distance swayed incessantly. The demonic beast's roar was layered in pressure, and countless trees cracked and fell. Fortunately, the array arranged by Brother Qi can isolate the attack of the sonic waves. Otherwise, I'm afraid that we would have been injured on top of our injuries. A female pupil of the Heavenly Secret Palace said with adoration and fieriness, as well as lingering fear. Brother Kai's array skills are indeed powerful. Gushio couldn't help but admire. This level of defense-type array might only be able to be arranged by a headmaster-level array master in the 8 Extremes sect. Had Qi Xiu's array attainments already reached this level? Brother Qi deserves to be the #1 genius who won the championship in all contests in the last 6 major sects grand competition. Such strength and talent really makes us ashamed. He smiled bitterly. They were all people who had entered the sect about the same time, but Qi Xiu had already left them behind by a lot. Many people sighed helplessly. Jean S.E.'s enchanting expression revealed a bit of worry. I wonder how Junior Sister Lu is? This kind of pressure is probably difficult to resist with her sword sovereign cultivation base. That Junior Sister Lao's accomplishments in arrays are also very heaven-defying. She's a grade 5 array master before even 20. A pupil of the medicine sect sighed, then said with a contradictory expression, but her temper is too impulsive. With her rushing into the falling ghost river like this, I wonder if she would even be able to come back alive. Geniuses have the capital to be prideful, but Junior Sister Lu is a bit too conceited. A pupil of the Spirit Tamers sect said regretfully. With such talent, why risk her life for a spiritual item that she couldn't obtain at all? Who didn't desire the spiritual item at the bottom of the river here? But since the appearance of the sword saints of the devil race and the sea race, they could only put away the greed in their hearts. They didn't even dare to think about the spiritual item in that river with a fight at this level. And even if there weren't any sword saints from the devil race and sea race, simply with the tier 9 demonic beast hidden in the river alone that could destroy them all, they could only suppress that desire in their hearts. No matter how good something was, one had to live to enjoy them. I believe that junior sister Lu will be safe and sound. Gushio looked at the falling ghost river with an uncertain expression. That woman had created countless miracles in the competition space of the Tianling Continental Tournament for hegemony. With her cautious temperament, she definitely wouldn't go down the river without some confidence. However, it was definitely a situation where the chances of misfortune were greater than fortune, but he also admired her courage. Jinsei nodded. I also think she'll be fine. She just had a feeling that Lu Muyan's strength wasn't as simple as it appeared on the surface. Although the others believed that Lu Muyan had a higher chance of dying, but they didn't say much and quietly observed the movements of falling Ghost River. Roar! From the bottom of the river, demonic beast roars kept rising, and Lu Muyan felt a stinging pain in her head. Just as she was about to mobilize her mental energy to form a dense net to protect her spiritual sense, Mingxiu took out a small blue ball and melted it into the golden shield, instantly isolating the roar of the demonic beast. Come and read on our website, Wuxiao World site. Thanks, you build a soundproof array in this little blue ball. Lu Muyan used to be a high-level array master, so her eyes were very sharp. She could see at a glance the secret hidden in the little blue ball. Mingxiu's deep, dark eyes were filled with surprise. He really underestimated this woman before. He didn't expect that she would be able to see the sealed array with just a glance. There are many wonderful uses for arrays. They should be facing the tier 9 demonic beast now. Lu Muyan felt a violent fight coming from below. Let's join in the fun too. Mingxiu's thin lips raised into an arc, and he quickly dived down with Lu Muyan. Lu Muyan found that each time they dived for a certain distance, the resistance in the water would deepen a lot. When they were about to reach the bottom of the river, the Sword Saints and Sword Venerables of the Sea Race and Devil Race were blocked outside by a dark blue water ring. The people on both sides already had no intention of fighting at this time, and they slashed towards the water ring with their magic tools. Many people tried to continue to dive down, but each time half their bodies entered the water ring, they couldn't resist but float back up. Seeing Mingxiu and Lu Muyan diving down, they watched the two of them defensively, but didn't make a move, worried that if one of their own made a move, their opponent would sneak attack. Most importantly, they concluded that the two wouldn't be able to sink deeper past the water ring. The two ignored them and continued to dive down. When entering the dark blue water ring until it was waist-high, Lu Muyan felt a violent pressure squeeze towards her. The water pressure was very strong. As their bodies dived a little bit, the pressure grew stronger and stronger, and even breathing became difficult. Can you still stand it? Mingxiu held his arms around Lu Muyan and telepathically said as he neared her. Lu Muyan took a deep breath and replied, yes. Although the elemental energy barrier and array Mingxiu arranged had a defensive function, but they couldn't prevent this natural water pressure. Only people with strong bodies or special methods wouldn't be crushed or shredded by the force generated by the water pressure. Thanks to the sorcerer's skill she cultivated, her body was as powerful as a tier 9 demonic beast once activated, otherwise she would have to stop at the deep blue water ring. It was no wonder that even the strong sword saints in the two teams were blocked outside. Although their cultivation base and abilities were powerful, but their bodies were unable to resist the water pressure here. Slowly diving down, Mingxiu sent a few waves of true force into Lu Muyan's back from time to time, which relieved her originally squashed and pain bones a lot. It wasn't that Mingxiu didn't want to block all the pressure for Lu Muyan, but that the squeeze of the water pressure would be of great help to her body cultivation in the future. This was actually a fortuitous encounter. After about another incense stick of time, the two finally penetrated another layer of dark blue water ring and reached the bottom of the river. The scene after passing through the water ring was completely different from above. All the water flows were isolated by the dark blue water ring. There was a large space below, and the ground was covered with icy blue gravel. There was even a transparent, bottomless river next to the gravel. The two fell to the ground, and Ming Xiu held Lu Muyan's hand, heading towards the end of the river where there were huge battle fluctuations. After walking for a while, a dazzling light came from the cave. Lu Muyan blocked her eyes and followed Ming Xiu in. When she opened her eyes, she saw that there was a huge ice pool in the cave. In the center of the ice pool was a gorgeous blue flower resembling a peony. Surrounding the flower were drops of ice blue water droplet spars with slivers of black inside. In the center of the stamens laid several dark blue spars with a circle of black liquid in the middle. And at this time, Lan Si and Shen Mu Feng were teamed up to fight a Jiao dragon, and the fight was difficult to interrupt. The Jiao dragon was injured by the sword auras of the two in many places, but the two were also more or less injured. When all the petals bloomed, bursts of fragrance spread from the flower in the middle of the pond. The 4 people and 1 beast present immediately felt refreshed, and an inexplicable force penetrated into their bodies. The elemental energy in them subconsciously flowed incessantly to form several macrocosmic orbits. In only a moment, the few people felt that their cultivation base had risen. Lu Muyan also broke through the bottleneck because of this airflow and went directly from Advanced Phase Sword Sovereign to Peak Phase Sword Sovereign. Maiwata Chapter 376. Your opponent is me. The strange fragrance in the cave entered their bodies in a stream of air currents. When the strange fragrance dissipated, the people exited that comfortable state. You despicable humans. This is this king's territory. If you don't scram, don't blame me going all out. The pure white Jiao dragon looked at the several people coldly and spoke the human tongue. It's fine if you want us to leave, as long as you let us take the obsidian fluorite with us. Shen Mu Feng said with a grim expression. Don't even think about it. The Jiao dragon was furious and spit out countless icicles at the 4 of them with a roar. Ming Xiu wielded his golden sword to block all the icicles outside, and Shen Mu Feng and Lan Si both revealed a look of fear when they saw it. Lan Si, until when will you hide your strength? Shen Mu Feng kept dodging the icicles and continued. Why don't we join forces to kill him, then snatch the obsidian fluorite? This method is good, but the 2 little fellows beside us are very likely to snatch the obsidian fluorite when we're fighting. Lan Si glanced at Ming Xiu and Lu Muyan and said. Lu Muyan rolled her eyes. Lan Si, this fox sure had a lot of thoughts. The 2 of you will deal with the Jiao dragon together with us. How about fight for the obsidian fluorite later? Shen Mu Feng looked at Ming Xiu and Lu Muyan and asked. At this time, no one trusted anyone. If they fought alone, they wouldn't necessarily be afraid of the Jiao dragon, but they were afraid that they would be injured and give others the opportunity to snatch the obsidian fluorite first. They'll join forces with you, she won't need to. Ming Xiu blocked Lu Muyan and said to the 2. All right, as long as you fight alongside us. Shen Mu Feng nodded. Although Lu Muyan's abilities were good, but her cultivation base was far worse than them. If she wanted to forcibly snatch away the obsidian fluorite, he could also kill her before she escaped. The only person they were afraid of was Ming Xiu. Ming Xiu didn't hesitate either. He just tapped his toes and greeted the Jiao dragon. The 3 occupied one side each and used various means to force the Jiao dragon to use his trump card. But as the 3 of them were all powerhouses of the same strength as the Jiao dragon, their combined force was simply not something that the Jiao dragon could resist. It didn't take long for the 3 of them to completely kill the Jiao dragon, but Shen Mu Feng and Lan Si also exhausted a lot of elemental energy and were even injured. When the 3 of them were fighting, Lu Muyan tossed her spirit pets into the ice pool. The pool water here is good for you all to temper your bodies. Absorb it well. Yes, owner. Meow meow, shui. And Bing Ji shouted happily in the pool. After Bing Ji delivered the pills to the Lu clan, he flew back to Falling Ghost River 2 days ago to meet with Lu Muyan, and thus also obtained this fortuitous opportunity. This ice pool was very useful to demonic beasts, but it was of no use to humans, so Lu Mu Yin walked to a large rock and sat down, leaning her chin on a fist, watching the three of them slay the Jiao Dragon. After the Jiao Dragon was killed, the three of them retreated to one side each and looked at each other defensively. Now we're going to contend for the obsidian fluorite. Lan Si quickly took a few pills and looked at Ming Xiao and Shen Mu Feng with a warm smile. Why don't we join forces to kill this kid, then have a showdown for the obsidian fluorite? Shen Mu Feng turned his head to Lan Si and asked. Lan Si raised an eyebrow, his voice like a spring breeze. Sure. But there was an endless chill in just that one word. Ever since he met Lu Mu Yin at Yinzhou Kingdom, he had become somewhat interested in her. Later, he also used his personal networks to investigate her performance during the Tianling Continental Tournament for hegemony, and even obtained a copy of a crystal ball image recorded by the image reflection array. As he got to know her deeper, his interest in her also grew stronger, and he even had the thought to take her as his own. Come and read on our website, Wuxiao World site. Thanks just now, when he saw this mysterious man named Ming Xiao holding her hand and entering here, with also a tacit understanding between the two, it made him very unhappy. His temperament was indeed as gentle as jade, but his actions were also extremely ruthless. It was the right choice to get rid of a rival in love like Ming Xiao as soon as possible. Therefore, Shen Mu Feng's proposal was exactly what he wanted. After the two reached an agreement, they looked to Ming Xiao in unison, about to make a move, but who knew that Lu Mu Yin, who was sitting lazily on the stone, landed in front of Shen Mu Feng with a flash. Your opponent is me. She smiled like a flower, her eyes clear and chilling as she looked at Shen Mu Feng. Shen Mu Feng sneered. Little beauty, you want to stop me? You'll know when you try it, right? Lu Mu Yin raised an eyebrow. I'm not one to have pity and tender care for Jade. If you move out of the way now, I can spare your life. Shen Mu Feng narrowed his eyes dangerously. Then don't I need to thank you for your mercy? Lu Mu Yin smiled sarcastically. Unfortunately, I'm not interested in owing a devil cultivator a favor. Little Bowtie's temperament, sure, is explosive. Since you're adamant, then don't blame me for being cruel. A stern look flashed across Shen Mu Feng's eyes. Yin, retreat. He'll deal with them. Ming Xiao said softly to Lu Mu Yin. Lu Mu Yin turned her head and smiled at him, her eyes filled with firmness. Ming Xiao, believe me, she could never ever be the woman that would hide behind Ming Xiao. What she wanted was to stand side by side. She waited for his choice, seeing the confidence and determination on Lu Mu Yan's stunning little face. Ming Xiao's heart felt like it was about to melt. His woman was just this brilliant and bright. All right, the woman he wanted to be with for all his life was bound to stand with him at the peak to view the scenery below. She understood him just as he knew her. Lu Mu Yin smiled happily and turned to face Shen Mu Feng. Let's fight. Lan Si held a silver sword in his hand, engraved with intricate circles of runes. Looking at the tacit interactions between the two, the discomfort in his heart deepened a little bit, and he felt that Ming Xiao was more and more unpleasant to the eye. As Lan Si's voice fell, the four quickly fought. Lu Mu Yin swiftly formed seals and clusters of orange flames leapt out of her palm, turning into blossoming fire lotuses floating towards Shen Mu Feng. Shen Mu Feng knew that Lu Mu Yin owned a spirit flame, so he also took precautions and immediately took out a dark shield. The dark shield quickly grew in size, blocking all the lotuses formed from the spirit flame. If you only have these tricks, then you'll surely die. Shen Mu Feng held a cyan longsword and constantly channeled elemental energy into it. Lu Mu Yin sighed. The gap between cultivation bases was just too large, and it really was difficult to make up for it using these tricks. Mo Yin, let's start. Mo Yin, who was standing on her shoulder, swept over Shen Mu Feng with a cold look, and after a few gestures with his claws in midair, he vanished from this space. Immediately, a blazing cyan-black flame appeared in her dantian, and a violent force swept through her entire body. She quickly formed seals and used the secret skill to incorporate the power borrowed from Mo Yin into her own spiritual energy. Shen Mu Feng's pupils constricted. he discovered that Lu Mu Yan's momentum was gradually completely changing, and her cultivation base was also rising until she advanced to initial phase Sword Saint where she stopped. He didn't know what method she used to improve her strength, but there was a faint sense of danger which made him no longer hesitate. He swung his sword and slashed. A sword aura burst through the air, turning into a ferocious cyan tiger, opening its mouth and biting towards Lu Mu Yan's neck. Chapter 377. Waiting for an opportunity, the ferocious tiger, transformed from Shun Mu Feng's sword aura, brought unparalleled pressure, as if a king of jungle. It quickly sprang out, and when it arrived near Lu Mu Yan's neck, it opened its mouth, wanting to bite. There was no fear in Lu Mu Yan's eyes. Clusters of cyan-black flames appeared all around her body. She raised her hand slightly, and a mini Qilin appeared. With fiery flames, the mini Qilin waved its small paws and clawed the tiger. Roar! The ferocious tiger was eroded by the energy contained in the flame and let out an ear-piercing roar. The sword auras of the devil race would more or less carry some dark, evil force, and the netherworld flame was its nemesis. Netherworld flame. You can actually use the netherworld flame. Shin Mu Feng's pupils continued to constrict. That white demonopet is a spirit devourer. After Mo Yan's cultivation base improved, he completely concealed the aura of a spirit devourer. Even a sword deity powerhouse would only regard him as a fire cloud mink. If it weren't for Mo Yan's disappearance and Lu Mu Yan's sudden soar in cultivation base, as well as using the netherworld flame, Shin Mu Feng wouldn't have discovered it either. It's too late to know now. Lu Mu Yan snorted coldly, her hands forming seals incessantly. Runes with cyan-black flames surrounded Shin Mu Feng one after another. Then she took out a black array flag she refined and unfolded it quickly. 9 nether-killing array rise. Following a shout, divine beasts condensed from netherworld flame suddenly appeared around Shin Mu Feng. The azure dragon, white tiger, vermilion bird, and black tortoise stared at Shin Mu Feng with icy gazes. The mini Qilin suddenly grew dozens of times bigger, swallowing all the sword auras that Shin Mu Feng just activated. You're actually a grade 6 array master. Shin Mu Feng looked at Lu Mu Yan in utter shock. He never thought that this woman who wasn't even 20 years old would hide so deeply. With this kind of array and cultivation talent, she would be considered an exceptionally rare genius of a millennium, even among the devil race of the Guangling world. Lu Mu Yan raised an eyebrow. Don't underestimate any opponent. This is the profound lesson that I've taught you today. She knew that the Shin Mu Feng here wasn't his original body. On this interface, their projected avatars would be suppressed by the power of the interface, and the cultivation base they displayed wouldn't even be 1/10 of their original body. I didn't expect that you would be the first person to force me to use my trump card on this small interface. Shin Mu Feng chuckled. The elemental energy in his body instantly tore open a seal. Immediately, his figure blurred, and when he reappeared, there were 2 more thorns on his head, and his entire body was covered in a layer of black scales. A pair of wings also grew behind him, and even his hands and feet turned into claws like those demons from hell. What's this? Lu Mu Yan asked Jun Luo-chan in the pendant while forming seals to control the array. You don't know that the devil race can demonize? This is his transformation after using the demonized secret skill. His strength will be increased by at least half compared to before, and the toughness of his body is comparable to a peak phase tier 9 demonic beast. Be careful. Jun Luo-chan folded his arms, appearing like he was watching a good show. Lu Mu Yan furrowed her brows and asked, "Is there any weak point that can be attacked?" She had heard Lan Si call Shin Mu Feng the holy son of the devil race before. Then, as a former devil lord, Jun Luo-chan should know how to break this secret skill. Why should I tell you about our devil race's weakness after demonization? Jun Luo-chan said irrefutably. What a joke. If he told this woman about their weakness after demonizing, then wouldn't she turn the devil realm into chaos after she ascended to Guangling World? Lu Muyan's eyes turned cold, but her voice was extremely calm. It seems that you want to taste the power of the netherworld flame, personally? Jun Luo Chun, I have a partnership relationship with you, but you'd better not challenge my patience. There was a time limit in using the secret skill between her and Mo Yin. If she failed to kill Shen Mu Feng after the secret skill passed, she would definitely be the one to die. Jun Luo Chun choked. Don't forget that I'm the Devil Lord of the Devil Race. Do you think I'm a fool to leak such a secret? Come and read on our website, Wuxiao World site. Thanks, I want to remind you of one thing. You are the former Devil Lord. Go ask that holy son of the Devil Race opposite if he recognizes you. Lu Muyan said with a smile of ridicule. You tell me, if he knew that the pendant on me was hiding the former Devil Lord, will he immediately self-destruct and die together with you? Jun Luo Chan was furious, but he couldn't refute Lu Muyan. The Devil Race's holy sons were all geniuses and elites cultivated by the Devil Lord, and would only obey the orders of the current Devil Lord. If the holy son of the Devil Race knew that his main soul still existed in the human world, then even if they couldn't kill him with all their might, they would also send the news back to the upper interface. When that happens, if that person personally projected an avatar down, his main soul would undoubtedly be destroyed. Eyes. His eyes are the weak point on his whole body. Jun Luo Chen's voice was a bit hopeless. He was betrayed by his race and the people close to him. Just remembering this point, he felt a heart-wrenching pain. There was mockery on his lips. Since that was the case, so what if he leaked the secret like this? Suddenly, he was actually looking forward to the scene of Lu Muyin running to the Devil Realm to stir up a scenery of fleshy wind and bloody rain. If Lu Muyin knew what Jun Luo Chen was thinking, she would definitely beat him up. He made her sound as if she was a troublemaker. Lan Si and Ming Xiu fought evenly, but they never thought that Lu Muyin not only merged with the power of her demonic pet, but also forced Shen Mu Feng to demonize. So you demonized, but you think he'll be afraid of you? Lu Muyin looked at the scarlet eyes of Shen Mu Feng, while waiting for an opportunity to attack his eyes. Shen Mu Feng laughed loudly, waved his wings, and with a flash, landed right behind Lu Muyin. A sharp claw clawed at Lu Muyin. Be careful. Ming Xiu's attention was mostly on Lu Muyin, and when he saw this, he wanted to move over to rescue her. Lan Si blocked him and said, Don't you interfere with their battle. He naturally wouldn't watch Lu Muyin be killed by Shen Mu Feng, but he wanted to see the limits of this woman. Lu Muyan's mental energy was very strong, so she discovered Shen Mu Feng as soon as he arrived behind her. She used flash steps and barely avoided the claws, but was also caught by a storm created by the claw and reflected out. Her boat's toughness only barely reached a Tier 9 demonic beast. She borrowed the sorcerer skill earlier when she was entering the water ring to offset part of the pressure, but at this time, Shen Mu Feng had the body toughness of a peak phase Tier 9 demonic beast. She wouldn't win by battling directly, and Shen Mu Feng's speed after demonization was too fast, even surpassing her flash steps. Ming Xiu, I will kill him. Lu Muyan's firm voice sounded in Ming Xiu's sea of consciousness. Ming Xiu's deep eyes overflowed with pain from his heart. He closed his eyes. All right, but if you haven't killed him after your secret skill disappears, he'll act. Ming Xiu exuded an endless chill all over his body. He vented all the irritability in his heart towards Lan Si. The two people who were originally a fair match instantly distanced. Lan Si's blue eyes were filled with killing intent and no longer held back. He quickly met the maniacal attacks of Ming Xiu. On the other side, Shen Mu Feng kept attacking Lu Muyin with sharp claws, and she would be injured each time he reached out. But Shen Mu Feng wasn't any better either. Lu Muyin's 9 nether killing array was already a grade 6 killing array. Each time the 4 symbols divine beasts roared out of the array, his demonized power would also weaken a bit. But unless his elemental energy was exhausted, then he could maintain his demonization. Meanwhile, Lu Muyan's secret skill that forcibly advanced her cultivation base had a time limit. As long as he bided for time, then he could kill her. Shen Mu Feng had his own strategy, while Lu Muyin was also waiting for an opportunity. Suddenly, Shen Mufeng clawed towards Lu Muyin from the front and pierced her shoulder. Right when he was about to tear her body apart, he saw a faint smile on Lu Muyin's lips. An ominous feeling rose in his heart. Not good. There was something wrong with her. Chapter 378. Forge a great enemy. The feeling of Shen Mufeng's sharp claws penetrating her shoulders wasn't pleasant, but Lu Muyin deliberately lured him into the trap. Just when Shen Mufeng had a bad premonition and mobilized the elemental energy of his entire body to kill Lu Muyin, she burst. The mini-Qilin beast and the four symbols divine beast carrying a cyan-black flame rushed towards Shen Mufeng. More than a dozen slender golden needles slipped out from Lu Muyin's body and stabbed towards Shen Mufeng, cooperating with the array. Shen Mufeng's scarlet eyes were filled with cruelty. One hand reached back from Lu Muyin's shoulder, then clawed towards her heart. The other hand brandished his long sword, brewing layers upon layers of his sword aura storm, crushing the four symbols divine beast's flaming bodies. Just when he was distracted, Lu Muyin endured the pain in her shoulder, and her mental energy formed two hurricanes that shot directly into Shen Mufeng's eyes. Shen Mufeng wasn't at all prepared that Lu Muyin would use her mental energy to attack his eyes. Under the destruction of the mental energy hurricane, his sea of consciousness was an entire mess, and his head was in so much pain it felt as if it would explode. He held his head with both hands and screamed. Under the control of Lu Muyin's mind, the more than a dozen golden needles bounded back by the sword aura spun in midair, stabilized themselves, then stabbed towards Shen Mufeng. The mini-Qilin condensed from the netherworld flame raised its head and roared, entering Shen Mufeng's back. After the mental energy hurricane dissipated, Shen Mufeng regained his clarity, but it was already too late. In a battle between the strong, even if it was just a short distraction, it would change the situation of the battle. His internal organs were burned together by the mini-Qilin. The horns on his head and the black scales on his body gradually dissipated and the demonization was lifted. He roared unwillingly. He wanted to use another trump card but found that he could no longer move. His eyes widened and he looked at Lu Muyin in horror, but he couldn't utter a word. Lu Muyin smiled while covering her stabbed shoulder. My golden needles are dipped in a vicious poison that can paralyze people's bodies. You will definitely die today. The scarlet in Shen Mufeng's eyes were darker, not caused by the demonization, but instead by anger. Only now did he realize that when he fought against this woman just now, he fell into the trap she designed step by step. Although she was an opponent, but he couldn't help but admire her temperament and wit, being ruthless to others, but even more ruthless to herself. After battling dozens of rounds, Lu Muyin would have been injured by him through shockwaves, and she even withstood the danger of being stabbed through the shoulder by him, to the point that she even risked the danger of severely injuring her internal organs to lure him in, only for this fatal blow. And she was very successful in luring him into this trap. He didn't expect her to attack his only weakness after demonized. His consciousness began to fade, but there was still a question lingering in his heart. Did she just accidentally attack his eyes? Or did she already know the weakness of the devil race after demonization? Why did you attack my eyes? Before dying, Shen Mufeng mouthed his doubts. Lu Muyin smiled, lowered her head beside his ear, and said with a sharpness in her eyes, "Because I hate when people look at me with scarlet, bloody eyes. I can't help but want to destroy them. So in the future when battling, don't use those eyes to look at others. Shen Mufeng, you should actually thank me. I taught you a deep lesson today." She wouldn't explain too much, otherwise Shen Mufeng would definitely suspect that she knew the weakness of the devil race after demonization. To only say enough, that way, it would make him feel that her attack was an accident. She naturally wouldn't admit that she knew the weakness of the devil race after demonization, otherwise it would be huge trouble. Come and read on our website Wuxiao World site. Thanks, the corner of Shen Mufeng's lips twitched. Because of the color of his eyes, she used herself to lure him into the trap to kill. This woman was a lunatic, but he was also completely relieved. So it turned out she didn't know his weakness after demonization. Thinking about it, that was only, of course. He was completely scaring himself earlier, let alone a human sore master of the lower interface. Even those powerful almighties in Guangling world didn't know the hidden weaknesses of their devil race after demonization. He closed his eyes, his aura gradually disappearing, and he used the last of the elemental energy accumulated in his dantian to send out a mental energy sonic wave, resounding throughout the cave. Lu Muyan, right? This eminence has remembered you. When you ascend to Guangling world in the future, this eminence will repay you for killing my body and snatching the treasure. When Shun Mu Feng's aura disappeared completely, in a palace in the devil realm of Guangling world, a man who looked exactly like Shen Mu Feng, but with a completely different aura, suddenly opened his eyes. At this moment, there was a scarlet color in his eyes, and a cruel arc rose on his lips as he thought, Lu Muyin, you don't like scarlet eyes, huh? Then in the future, this eminence will definitely imprison you and let you have a nice taste of how it feels to be burnt by scorching flames, staring at this eminence's scarlet eyes every day. Lu Muyin burnt his internal organs with a netherworld flame, infected him with poison needles, and destroyed his sea of consciousness with her mental energy storm. Most importantly, it destroyed his plan of hiding in that little interface and missed out on the obsidian fluorite. Even if it was just an avatar projection, but as the genius holy son of the devil race, when had he suffered such humiliation? Lu Muyin, you must live well and ascend to Guangling world. This eminence is waiting for you. The anger in his chest had nowhere to vent, and he finally raised his head and roared a few times. All the furnishings in the entire palace room were shattered into powder. And in his roar, he just repeated one name, Lu Muyin. After Shen Mu Feng died, Lu Muyan's secret skill also faded. She sat meekly on the ground, gasping for breath. Her entire body was weak, and Mo Yan's figure fell to the ground. Mo Yan, it seems that I forged a great enemy before I even ascended to Guangling world. Lu Muyin smiled helplessly. From the mental energy sonic waves condensed by Shun Mu Feng just now, she heard infinite resentment. That man would definitely not let this go easily. Mo Yin looked at her collapsed on the ground, injured, with a hint of heartache in his eyes, and said with a light gaze, you could have chosen to challenge Lan Si earlier. Lan Si, who was fighting with Ming Xiu, glanced at Lu Muyin strangely when he heard those words. He wondered if it was because she was reluctant to kill him, but he was destined to be disappointed because Lu Muyin's reply almost made him vomit blood. No other way. Shun Mu Feng represents 100,000 contribution points from the sect. What's the benefit of killing Lan Si? Lu Muyin rolled her eyes at Lan Si. She took the initiative to challenge Shun Mu Feng, first, in order to help Ming Xiu share some pressure, and second, she targeted the 100,000 contribution points from the sect. Such a big pie fell from the sky. Even if she had to bear the consequences of being wanted by Shun Mu Feng in the future, she must still take it. Lan Si was completely speechless. So it turned out that his life was just worthless in the eyes of this woman. This woman sure was still the same as she used to be, to actually make such a ruthless move simply for some contribution points. But the more ruthless she was, the more cunning she was, the more he liked her. This woman, he must obtain her. Ming Xiu's heart chilled when he saw that Lan Si's eyes revealed a stubborn madness for Lu Muyin. He unsealed a layer of his seals in his body, and elemental energy instantly gushed out. Maiwada Chapter 379. Heartache and helplessness at this time. Ming Xiu's entire figure was as if it were plated with a layer of golden light. A boundless elemental energy rushed towards his dantian, and his entire person exuded a momentum even stronger than Lan Si, who was at Sword Saint Cultivation Base. Lan Si came to his senses only to see Ming Xiu filled with killing intent. His eyes were filled with incredulity. Just who was this man? And how could he have sealed such a powerful force in him? Such power wasn't something that this interface could possess at all. Could this man also come from Guangling world? But Lan Si could conclude that Ming Xiu was different to him and Shenmu Feng. They were avatar projections, while Ming Xiu was definitely his original body. But if the original body descended to this interface, then it would inevitably be repelled by the power of the laws of this interface. Just what was his identity? A golden sword light swept across, and Lan Si's eyes narrowed. He struck with his palm towards the sword light, and clusters of blue flames emerged from his body to form a shield. The sword aura swept across the shield, and the shield formed by the spirit flame was torn in half, but also offset 90% of the sword aura energy. The rest of the sword aura was barely withstood by Lan Si, but he felt his blood was surging inside. Just who are you? He looked at Ming Xiu with a grim expression. Ming Xiu's eyes were filled with coldness. You talk too much. Then he immediately poured all his elemental energy into the giant golden sword in his hand, ready for the second strike. Lan Si's heart was grim. He glanced at the obsidian fluorite, gritted his teeth, and made a decision. He took out a talisman and activated it. A huge blue water curtain suddenly appeared in front of him, and he walked in without hesitation. With the power of his avatar projection being suppressed by this interface, he wasn't Ming Xiu's opponent, who had unlocked a seal and gained a vast amount of power. He could only leave first and slowly plan out how he could obtain the obsidian fluorite. A huge sword energy erupted from Ming Xiu, and he was like a killing deity. The huge golden sword slashed through the water curtain and instantly severely injured Lan Si, who had already entered it. Pu, a mouthful of blood spurted out from the water curtain, and Lan Si turned his head to look at Ming Xiu fiercely. The death of this sword will be avenged by this king in the future. Ming Xiu smiled, uncaring. His thin lips opened slightly, and he mouthed to Lan Si, "To covet this monarch's woman, you're still a little tender. This monarch is waiting for you to take revenge anytime." Lan Si's pupils constricted slightly. Then as the entire water curtain faded, he also disappeared from this space. After Lan Si was teleported away by the power of that talisman, Ming Xiu immediately walked towards Lu Muyin and squatted down. He pressed his lips tightly with a worried and unhappy expression, quickly took out some liquid medicine and poured it on Lu Muyin's shoulder, then took out a grade 4 force nourishing pill for her to take. Seeing Ming Xiu's cold expression, Lu Muyin could also guess why he was angry. She tugged his sleeve with a pitiful little look. "My shoulder hurts so much." Seeing her pale face and that rare look of weakness, her beautiful eyes watery. Looking at Ming Xiu with a coquettish appearance, all his anger disappeared immediately. Aside from heartache, there was only pampering. "You're such a bold and reckless woman." Ming Xiu carefully hugged her in his arms with heartache and placed his large hands on her back, continuously channeling true elemental aura. Lu Muyin pouted and said, "No, I'm not." "You're not." Ming Xiu tapped the tip of her nose with his finger, with helpless pampering in his deep eyes. "Just tell me what you want to exchange your contribution points for, and he'll find a way to help you get it. Why risk your life to kill Shenmu Feng? Come and read on our website, Wuxiao World site. Thanks, what you get from me isn't the same feeling of achievement as what I obtained myself." Lu Muyin blinked and said. Ming Xiu was the hall master of the Nine Layers Hall, and there was the entire Ming Chamber of Commerce Alliance behind him. It was true that rarely was there anything he couldn't find, but she didn't lie either. The 100,000 contribution points she got from killing Shenmu Feng, and the things Ming Xiu helped her find were just two completely different things. She didn't want to rely on him too much. She needed independent space to grow. She would use him as her support, but it wouldn't be her all. Ming Xiu sighed. He knew Lu Muyin's temper from the moment he fell in love with her. She was tenacious and confident, with her own pride and persistence. Since he liked her, then he would naturally follow her heart, even if he really wanted to simply protect her under his wings so that she could be carefree. Actually, there's nothing wrong with being a little bit injured. Lu Muyin buried her head against Ming Xiu's neck. During the battle with Shun Mu Feng, I found that my strength and speed are still far behind him, and there's much to improve. I also feel like I comprehended something. If she hadn't borrowed Mo Yan's power, she wouldn't be able to kill Shun Mu Feng at all. Maybe she would even be escaping with a secret skill right now. Although her shoulder was seriously injured, but she gained even more. Not only did she kill Shin Mu Feng to exchange for 100,000 SEC contribution points, but she also comprehended a slight wind element when she battled with him. Maybe the wind element in her would be activated because of it. But don't force yourself so much in the future. Ming Xiu also knew that a battle of life and death was the best way to enhance the potential of a sword master, but seeing her bloody wound, his heart only ached more. Don't worry, I'm not that stupid. If I couldn't beat Shin Mu Feng, I would have asked for your help long ago. Lu Mu Yin raised her beaming eyes like a sneaky little fox. Ming Xiu kissed her forehead and hugged her tighter. In the future, you have to be careful with people from the devil race. Shin Mu Feng is one of the most respected holy sons of the Devil Lord in the Devil Realm. You killed him and destroyed his plan to contend for the obsidian fluorite. He wouldn't just let it go easily. He lowered his head, and there was a layer of frost in the bottom of his eyes. Sooner or later, he would find Shin Mu Feng to settle the debt of injuring his woman. If it weren't that Lu Mu Yin didn't let him help, he would have definitely shredded Shin Mu Feng's body into thousands of pieces and extracted this split soul. I will. Lu Mu Yin knew that she had indeed provoked a great existence, but she didn't take it to heart. In her past life, she also provoked numerous powerful existences in the spiritual realm, but in the end, because of their various pursuits and killing attempts, she was motivated to continuously pursue the great path and improve her cultivation base. Recover a little. After channeling in the last true elemental aura into Lu Mu Yan's body, Ming Xiu let go of her. Lu Mu Yan nodded with a smile, then began to close her eyes to recover from the injury. She also used the true elemental aura from Ming Xiu to stabilize her peak phase sword sovereign cultivation base. She used the green mist in her dantian, flowing along her meridians, to cover her wound for healing. The green mist's repairing ability was very powerful, and it only took half a day for the wound on her shoulder that went deep into the bones to gradually heal. Of course, the quick recovery of the wound was inseparable from the liquid medicine that Ming Xiu dripped on her shoulder. After she recovered somewhat from her injuries, the moment she opened her eyes, she met Ming Xiu's eyes that were as bright as the brilliant stars in the vast starry sky. Let's take the obsidian fluorite first, Lu Mu Yin said with a smile. Based on the time, the elders of the 5 major sects may be arriving soon. The speed of a Sword Saint powerhouse was naturally very different from flying magic tools that they took for missions. The elders who were not far away from here should be able to reach Falling Ghost River in a day. All right. Chapter 380. Frame the love rival. All the obsidian fluorite was born, and a fragrant scent lingered on both their noses. Lu Mu Yan's several spirit pets also absorbed the power in the ice pool pretty well. That ice blue peony-shaped spar was bright and clean, giving people a sense of cleanliness and translucence. I didn't expect our luck to be so good. The obsidian fluorite actually gave birth to fluorite essence. Lu Mu Yin smiled at the several spars in the stamen. Ming Xiu nodded. Yeah, last time we obtained the heavenly frost golden essence together, and this time we discovered the fluorite essence. It shows that our luck's good. Still the old rule, let's half it, Lu Mu Yin said with a smile. I only need enough fluorite essence to refine a single magic tool. You can take the rest of the obsidian fluorite. Ming Xiu had been searching for a material to refine a water attribute magic tool for a while, and he didn't expect that through this opportunity, he actually obtained it. Do you want the white Jiao Dragon corpse? And Shin Mu Feng's interspatial ring? Lu Mu Yin asked, scanning the corpse beside him. Don't want. You can put it away. Lu Mu Yin knew that this guy was rolling in money, so she divided the fluorite essence in half, then put it away together with the spar peony containing obsidian fluorite. Ming Xiao took the fluorite essence and put it away. After thinking about it, he asked, "Can you also comprehend the water element?" I'm going to use this fluorite essence to refine a natal magic tool." Lu Mu Yin didn't hide it from Ming Xiao. Ming Xiao's eyes revealed slight strangeness. He didn't expect Lu Mu Yan's talent to be so heaven-defying, but when he remembered his own multiple attributes, he calmed. With this, weren't they a good match? If you use the fluorite essence to refine a natal magic tool, you best sacrifice it together with heavy water, and its power would be even stronger. After Ming Xiao finished speaking, he flipped his hand, and there were two more colorless and transparent stones in his palm. This is a nether meteorite. When you refine, you can add some in, and it can randomly activate some of the hidden attributes of the magic tool. Then I won't be polite. Lu Mu Yin knew about the nether meteorite. This thing could be regarded as an Earth-rank spiritual item and was exceptionally rare. As long as she functioned well when refining the natal magic tool, then the magic tool she refined would be even more powerful. By the way, do you know where you can find heavy water on Tianling continent? Lu Mu Yin asked after a bit. Heavy water was a kind of spiritual item extracted by high-level sword masters who have comprehended the water attribute element to perfection realm. It was best used to refine magic tools. Although Ming Xiao could also perceive the water attribute element, but he had only reached the great achievement realm and couldn't refine heavy water. On this interface, he had also never met a sword master who had comprehended the water attribute to the perfection realm. He furrowed his brows. Then after a while, his eyes lit up and he said, "In your 8 extremes sect, there's a piece of heavy water. After you're promoted to an inner sect pupil, each sect will have an individual spiritual item, exchange jade slip issued. I remember heavy water is on it. Then I can use the contribution points from the wanted mission to exchange for it." Lu Mu Yin smiled happily. She wasn't worried about not being able to be promoted to inner sect pupil. Whether it was her specialization skills or direct battles, she was 100% certain that she would be able to enter the inner sect. The opening of the land of inheritance has been delayed. You can use this interval to improve your strength. It just so happens that the selection competition for inner pupils within each sect is about to start. Ming Xiao said. Lu Mu Yin nodded. How long until the land of inheritance opens? It will take a year at least. I think ITLLB after the sect's grand competition. Ming Xiao believed that Lu Mu Yin would shine brightly again during the sect's grand competition. Lu Mu Yin rubbed her chin and asked, "What are the benefits of the sect's grand competition?" She remembered that the 6 major sects held a grand competition among each other every 3 years. They were all competitions between the new pupils of the inner sect. A.O. Rong once mentioned that he hoped that she could participate in the array competition then. There are many benefits. If you win the championship of each competition, you will not only obtain rewards from each of the 6 major sects, but the rewards after returning to the sect will also be very grand. Come and read on our website, Wuxiao World site. Thanks. Ming Xiao paused, then emphasized, most importantly, the top 3 of the sect's grand competition have the opportunity to go to the holy purity pool to cleanse their marrows, shape their bodies, and wash their souls. It's several times, or even 10 times better than the effective pills. You mustn't miss out on it. All right, since there are so many benefits, you'll naturally strive to participate in it. Lu Mu Yan's eyebrows curved with her smile. She must go to the place where even Ming Xiao praised. Ming Xiao was touched by her smile, and an arc rose on his lips. The geniuses and elites of the inner sects of each sect all have the ability to skip stage battle, especially when it comes to specialized skills. Each sect is hiding their peerless geniuses, waiting for a time to amaze everyone. You have to pay attention. Isn't it more interesting like this? Lu Mu Yan's eyes lit up. There was only meaning to participate if there was a challenge. Ming Xiao took her into his arms and inhaled the fragrance of her hair. It will take a while for us to meet again after this time apart. Lu Mu Yin grunted softly and wrapped her arms around Ming Xiao's waist. The two of them quietly hugged each other just like this, and enjoyed the rare tranquility and warmth. 2 hours later, the two left the cave at the bottom of the river, and when they floated to the deep blue water ring, they looked up and saw the powerhouses of both the devil race and sea race still anxiously trying to dive down. What should we do? Lu Muyin looked at Ming Xiao and asked. Kill them. No need. Leave them to the elders of the 5 major sects to take care of. A cunning look flashed across Ming Xiao's deep eyes. Let's not expose the fact that we obtained the obsidian fluorite. Didn't you also only recover half of your injury on purpose? We can just act a little when the time comes, and we'll be free of suspicion. Lu Muyin was also prepared to resolutely refuse to admit seeing the spiritual item at the bottom of the river. Otherwise, if the powerhouses of the 6 major sects knew that they had the obsidian fluorite in their hands, they would probably use various means to exchange them. But they're still stuck up there. How can we get out? Lu Muyin didn't want to fight with the powerhouses on both sides right now. Ming Xiao hooked the corners of his lips up and said with a smile, Leave it to me. With a thought, a purple light suddenly burst out from between his brows and immediately turned into a cold, cool, and handsome man in purple. The man exuded a powerful aura that seemed to come from ancient times, and one couldn't see through his cultivation base at all. A dragon-race demon cultivator? Lu Muyin looked at the man who suddenly appeared and whispered in a trance. The man stared sharply at Lu Muyin, as if scrutinizing. Then he said telepathically to Ming Xiao, You have a good eye for choosing a woman. There are a lot of secrets on this woman that even I can't see through. Her talent isn't even outmatched by you, very heaven-defying. My woman is naturally the best. Ming Xiao replied with full confidence and cheeriness. After a while, the purple-clothed man asked Ming Xiao, Why did you call me out? Ming Xiao pointed to the top and replied with a smile, I asked you to come out and lure the people above away. The purple-clothed man furrowed his brows, and there was a bit of disgust in his eyes. You want me to transform into that sea race's sword saint to lure them away? Ming Xiao, this man definitely wasn't some nice guy. To get him to transform into Lan Si and run out, then Shen Mufeng's death and the ownership of the obsidian fluorite could naturally all be pushed onto Lan Si. And Lan Si wasn't dead yet. By the time they discover Shen Mufeng's death, those devil race people definitely wouldn't give up, and it was very possible for them to go to the sea race to assassinate him. At that time, they'd then release the news that the obsidian fluorite was taken by Lan Si, and Ming Xiao and Lu Muyin would find a person to carry the blame. This was the classic pattern of framing the love rival to death. Alrighty-o. School holidays once again. Look forward to more double updates soon. Might not be regular double updates, but more will definitely come XD. Chapter 381. Find fault. Ming Xiao didn't care about the disgust in the eyes of the purple-clothed man. As long as he could meet his requirements, that was all. Yes, and along the way, you can resolve the sword venerables of the devil race while leave no one from the sea race. Sure, is troublesome. The purple-clothed man glanced at Ming Xiao, then transformed into the appearance of Lan Si. Lu Muyin's eyes revealed slight surprise. The purple-clothed man not only transformed into Lan Si's figure, but even also had the same temperament. Lure them all away. Ming Xiao raised an eyebrow and added with a smile. The purple-clothed man looked askance at him, then rushed out from the dark blue water ring. After rushing out of the water ring, the powerhouses of the sea race were overjoyed, while the powerhouses of the devil race looked at him with fear. Where's our master? A devil race sword saint asked. Lan Si looked at the several devil race people with a warm smile and said, Your master has already gone to report to the underworld. If the devil race powerhouses were shocked, then each took out their magic tools to attack. The people of the sea race surrounded Lan Si to counterattack. Lan Si shot out a blue sword light, and all the sword venerables from the devil race were killed by the sword aura. Let's go. Lan Si turned his head and said to the people of the sea race, Yes. Then the people of the sea race turned into several streams of light and exited the falling ghost river. The remaining several sword saints of the devil race frantically chased after them. After the two parties left, Lu Muyin and Ming Xiu leapt out of the falling Ghost River after half a day. The people in the array all sighed with relief when they saw the two coming out. After all, earlier they saw those people chasing after the sea race while exiting the falling Ghost River, and they all thought that Ming Xiu and Lu Muyin might be dead. Not long after the two came out of the water, the elders of the 6 major sects also arrived. The elder of the Heavenly Secret Palace looked at Ming Xiu gently and asked, "Qi Xiu, tell me what happened earlier." Ming Xiu stepped forward, cupped his hands, and reported all the events and change at Falling Ghost River. Then he added, "I went underwater to investigate with junior sister Lu of the 8 Extreme sect, discovered that there was a layer of a water ring formed by deep water pressure under the Falling Ghost River and couldn't go down. The 2 leaders of the Devil race and the Sea race, however, entered, while the others also couldn't dive further down. Junior sister Lu and I were found by several devil cultivators while we lurked and were attacked and injured. We fled to the upper and lower reaches of the river separately. They didn't chase after us. Only after we felt the powerful auras leave did we dare surface." Ming Xiu's expression was also pale at this time, and he looked as if he had suffered internal injuries, while the red clothes on Lu Muyin's shoulders had deep, dried-up bloodstains. "You're too reckless. Both the Devil race and the Sea race have sword saint powerhouses here. The both of you truly didn't care about your lives when you went to investigate. Luckily, they didn't continue to chase and try to kill." The elder's complexion from the Heavenly Secret Palace changed again and couldn't help but reprimand the two. Qi Xiu was the #1 pupil of their Heavenly Secret Palace, and his status in the sect was even higher than his. If he was lost because of this, he wouldn't be able to be excused easily after returning. Both of them humbly listened to the elder of the Heavenly Secret Palace. "Do you know what spiritual item was born underwater?" The elder of the Sword sect asked. "We're unsure, but among the leaders of the Devil race and Sea race, only the Sea race's Sword Saint left with their people. He must have obtained the spiritual item." Ming Xiu replied, "Come and read on our website Wuxiao World site." Thanks. He paused, then said, "Shen Mu Feng, the leader of the Devil race, was seriously injured by Lan Si of the Sea race, and was later killed by junior sister Lu. Lu Muyin had to exchange Shen Mu Feng's body for the sect's contribution points, so he couldn't leave too many flaws. He had to help her fill it up." "What?" The elders of the several sects were in disbelief when they heard that Lu Muyin had killed Shen Mu Feng. The pupils of the several sects looked at Lu Muyin as if they had seen a ghost, and they couldn't believe it at all. The elder of the 8 Extremes sect knew about Lu Muyin. After all, the sect leader and Ao Rong attached great importance to her. "Lu girl, is this true?" Reported elder. He was seriously injured with only his last breath left. "I set up a killing array when I was escaping. After he broke in, I used the killing array to kill him." Lu Muyin replied calmly. "A sword sovereign cultivation-based pupil can kill a sword saint powerhouse." The elder of the Heavenly Secret Palace furrowed his brows and asked, "Most importantly, Shen Mu Feng wasn't an ordinary sword saint powerhouse, but was 10th on the most wanted list. Even if he was severely injured, he couldn't be killed by a sword sovereign." With a thought from Lu Muyin, Shen Mu Feng's corpse appeared in front of the several elders. When he broke into the array, his internal organs were seriously damaged already. I was also only able to kill him by sneaking up, plus the array. The several elders immediately squatted down to inspect Shen Mu Feng's body. Then their expressions changed. Shen Mu Feng's internal organs were burned by a spirit flame, and from his aura, it was caused by a sword saint level person. The traces left on his body were indeed injured by an array. The elder of the sword sect said, "Did Lu Muyin kill Shen Mu Feng alone?" The elder of the Heavenly Secret Palace looked at Ming Xiu after a moment of silence and asked. Ming Xiu nodded. "Junior sister Lu and I acted separately. While I felt the battle fluctuations and rushed over, junior sister Lu had already killed Shen Mu Feng. Demonstrate the array you used to kill Shen Mu Feng again." The elder of the vast mountain sect ordered Lu Muyin with a sullen expression. They already knew that Lu Mu Yin injured the leading pupil of the Vast Mountain sect, and he didn't believe at all that this little girl could set up such a high-level killing array. So he was finding fault. Lu Mu Yin chuckled, raised an eyebrow, and asked, "You are the elder of the Vast Mountain sect, and I am the pupil of the 8 Extremes sect. What qualifications do you have to order me?" Her indifferent attitude and arrogant tone made the pupils present unable to resist sucking in a deep breath. This woman was truly crazy. She dared to talk like this to a Sword Saint Strength Elder. The elder of the Vast Mountain sect obviously didn't expect Lu Mu Yin to dare refute him, and in a fit of anger, the pressure of Sword Saint pressed towards Lu Mu Yin. A junior also dares to be this presumptuous towards this old man. "I see you're courting death." Ming Xiu's eyes turned cold. Just as he was about to stand out, he was stopped by a look from Lu Mu Yin. She took out an array flag, quickly formed hand seals, grabbed a handful of spiritual stones, and absorbed them crazily in her hand. An array constructed of transparent runes immediately protected her. As soon as the pressure from the elder of the Vast Mountain sect landed on the array, it was automatically absorbed by the array, and only 20% was applied to Lu Mu Yin, but she still withstood it. Grade 5 Defense Array. The elder of the Heavenly Secret Palace said, in surprise, "Old man Dongling, do you think our 8 Extremes sect is that easy to bully?" The elder of the 8 Extremes sect snorted coldly, blocking in front of Lu Mu Yin, and released his own Sword Saint pressure. He didn't quite believe that Lu Mu Yin could set up a high-level array, and she even dared to contradict Elder Dongling. So he wanted to see just what foundation she had to be so confident. Now that he saw that she could arrange a grade 5 array, in a moment of excitement, he naturally couldn't watch her being oppressed by an elder of another sect. Chapter 382. No thoughts of changing schools. The elder of the Vast Mountain sect removed the pressure with an extremely ugly expression. Obviously, he didn't expect Lu Mu Yin to really be a grade 5 array master. It is rude for the pupil of your 8 Extremes sect to not distinguish between respect and humility. There's a saying, respect the old and love the young. You don't even love the young. How can I respect the old? Lu Mu Yin asked with ridicule. Humph, you sure are eloquent, but I want to see just how long you can be so arrogant. The elder of the Vast Mountain sect snorted coldly, with hidden killing intent in his eyes. He had indeed overstepped in front of the 8 Extremes sect elder to order Lu Mu Yin. However, being contradicted by a junior and being unable to kill her right on the spot, the anger in his heart kept simmering. There is no need to bother you, old man Dong Lin, to take care of a pupil of our 8 Extremes sect. The elder of the 8 Extremes sect appeared slightly cold. The elder of the Sword sect thought about it, then persuaded. All right now, Dong Lin, why are you arguing with a junior? Let's first deal with the important business. The elder of the 8 Extremes sect had already regarded Lu Mu Yin as a treasure right now, and Elder Dong Lin couldn't do anything to her at all. The two sects had held grudges for a long time, and the people of the 8 Extremes sect were very protective and defensive of their people. Otherwise, Lu Mu Yin wouldn't dare be so arrogant either. To continue to find faults wasn't a wise move at all, and it could end up in a fight. What's more, such a young grade 5 array master should be raised as a treasure even for their sword sect. Geniuses had their own pride. Lu Mu Yan's ability to withstand a Sword Saint's pressure by herself just now proved that she still had some capabilities. From his perspective, being a little arrogant wasn't anything big. The elder of the Vast Mountain sect suppressed his anger, but the matter of Lu Mu Yin injuring his pupil and contradicting him would never be let go just like this. He smiled sinisterly inwardly. When the 6 major sects' grand competition arrived, he must let the geniuses of his sect kill her to avoid future trouble. The elder of the Heavenly Secret Palace contemplated, then instructed all the pupils. You can all rest here first, while go down for a look. Yes. Then the elders of the 6 major sects jumped into the falling Ghost River to investigate. After all, the purpose of their trip was to explore the spiritual item here. A day later, Another wave of sword saint powerhouses from the 6 major sects came, and together they destroyed the water ring and entered the bottom of the river. In the end, of course, there was nothing to be gained, and they could only leave in disappointment. But inwardly, they believed that Lan Si took the spiritual item away and cussed out the sea race inwardly. Lu Muyin and the other pupils of the 8 Extremes sect also followed the 2 elders who came to Falling Ghost River, and they left on flying magic tools. On the flying magic tool, Gu Xiao and the others looked at Lu Muyin with envy. "Junior sister Lu, you sure are lucky to meet Shun Mu Feng, who was about to die, and kill him. He could be exchanged for 100,000 sect contribution points," Jinsei said with a smile. Lu Muyin replied with a light smile. "It's also a coincidence. If it wasn't for Lan Si of the Sea race who seriously injured him, it would have been me who died now." "That's true." The several people nodded. "Junior sister Lu, you've hidden yourself so deeply. You've already advanced to a grade 5 array master at such a young age. This talent can be matched to that genius of the intersex array school." Peng Yang praised. Inwardly, they already believed that Lu Muyan's talent was even stronger than that person, but they couldn't say it aloud. After all, that person was a person in the sect they couldn't afford to offend. Who's that genius? Lu Muyan was unfamiliar with the intersect. She had only heard that there was a grade 5 array master genius, but she didn't know much. He's a direct disciple of one of the ancestors of the sect. Not only is he a grade 5 array master, but he's also in the top 10 of the intersect strength ranking. Gu Xiao replied. Jinsei added, "Not only does he have heaven-defying talent, but also a very deep background. If you enter the intersect, junior sister, you definitely shouldn't provoke him." "He's very arrogant in the intersect?" Lu Muyin asked the several people, who appeared very afraid of that array genius, curiously. "Come and read on our website, Wuxia World site." "Thanks, no, he's not arrogant. On the contrary, he's very low profile." Gu Xiao paused, then said, "But no one dares to offend, otherwise they'll definitely end miserably." Lu Muyan's eyes revealed a hint of interest. "I sure feel like I want to meet that senior brother more after hearing what you all said." The several people twitched the corners of their lips. Everyone else was hiding from that person, but she actually wanted to meet him. She was truly a lunatic. Along the way, the several people chatted for a while, then they cultivated in their cabins independently. After returning to the sect, Lu Muyin first greeted the several people and headed back to her courtyard for closed-door cultivation. In the cave at the bottom of the river, she broke through to peak phase Sword Sovereign with the energy birthed from that obsidian fluorite, and when she fought with Shun Mu Feng, she caught a sense of comprehension of the wind element. So she calmed down and settled to consolidate her cultivation base in an attempt to search for that sliver of comprehension. Time passed little by little, and a month later, Lu Muyin opened her eyes, her beautiful pupils filled with brilliant light. Taking advantage of this period of time, she not only stabilized her cultivation base, but also raised it to its peak state. She could break through to Sword Venerable at any given time with an opportunity. As for the comprehension of the wind element, she also caught on to it a little, and the introduction of it had been completed. Then she took out the crystal core of the Tier 9 white Jiao Dragon and refined many grade 5 pills and improved a bit in her alchemy skills too. A communication talisman floated in from the courtyard. After listening to it, she immediately got up and flew in the direction of where the headmaster was. As soon as Lu Muyin stepped into the courtyard, she saw a beautiful woman leaning lazily on a rocking chair drinking tea. She walked over with a smile on her lips. "Pupil pays respects to headmaster." She saluted with a pupil greeting. Huling Long opened her eyes. Her almond-shaped eyes overflowed with a layer of softness. "Little girl, your cultivation speed is so fast." The last time she saw Lu Muyin, this girl's cultivation base was only at middle phase Sword Sovereign. In only a year, she actually arrived at peak phase Sword Sovereign. Cultivation speed this fast sure was shocking. Headmaster called me here today isn't just to praise my fast cultivation speed, right? Lu Muyin wasn't restrained in front of Huling Long either, and went to sit in front of her, pouring herself a cup of tea. Not only was Huo Ling Long not angry, but her smile grew even deeper. Lu Mu Yan's temperament was very much to her taste. I heard that you're already a grade 5 array master? Lu Mu Yan picked up the teacup and took a sip. The fragrance lingered along her lips. Then can I understand it this way? You, as part of the talisman school, is also a grade 5 talisman master? Huo Ling Long raised an eyebrow slightly with all kinds of charms. About right, Lu Mu Yin said modestly. When Huo Ling Long heard her say that, she immediately sat up straight and looked at her with scorching eyes. Are you serious? How dare I deceive headmaster? Lu Mu Yin blinked and said, Your talent is a little too scary. Huo Ling Long sat up straight and tapped her fingers on the table. The headmaster of the array school has come very often to visit me in the last month. Lu Mu Yin played with the teacup and looked up at her. She didn't say anything, waiting to hear her next words. They all want you to go to the array school to cultivate. Huo Ling Long raised her eyes and looked at Lu Mu Yin playfully. You tell me, should I release you? Lu Mu Yin chuckled and asked with a sly smile. Then does headmaster want to release me? Of course not. If anyone dares to dig Liaoniang's corner, Liaoniang will beat them to death. Huo Ling Long said domineeringly and arrogantly. Then doesn't that settle it? Since headmaster already made a decision, then why bother to test me again? Lu Mu Yin leaned lazily against the back of the chair and continued to say leisurely, I have no thoughts of changing schools. Very good. You really didn't disappoint me. Huo Ling Long reached out and patted Lu Mu Yin on the shoulder and said, I believe you won't disappoint me in the competition for the intersect spots in a month. Lu Mu Yin put away a bit of her carefreeness and looked straight at her. Is the competition for the intersect spots ahead of schedule? Chapter 383. Can't be low profile, even if desired. The 6 major sects assessment for the promotion of the outer sect pupils to intersect pupils usually took place in another half a year, but now was suddenly brought forward, so Lu Mu Yin was surprised. According to past practice, the competition for the intersect pupil spots should be in half a year, but because the land of inheritance is about to open, the competition between the 6 major sects will be brought forward, so the assessment time has been changed together. Huo Ling Long explained. Lu Mu Yin furrowed her brows slightly and asked, Does the sect's grand competition have a lot to do with the intersect exams? Of course. The spots for each sect in the land of inheritance are all determined by the grand competition. The sects that win the most have the most spots, and the last sect will naturally be allocated the least. Most importantly, in this session, who knows how those superior almighties went crazy, but they requested that all the participants of the sect's grand competition must be new inner pupils, so the superiors of the 6 major sects are so anxious to bring it forward. Huo Ling Long pouted, obviously not showing much respect to those almighties above. But Lu Mu Yin really liked the temperament of this headmaster, refreshing and domineering, but extremely protective of close ones. When she returned to the sect, she ran to exchange for the 100,000 sect contribution points. But there was an elder who didn't like that and said she only took advantage of a situation to kill Shen Mu Feng and suggested to exchange for only 50,000 contribution points. Before she even went into a rage, Huo Ling Long went into a rage, wielding 2 giant axes to beat up the elder in charge of the sect's contribution points exchange hall, and finally took this ordeal to the sect leader. Of course, her 100,000 contribution points were also in her bag without a cent less, and she only needed to be promoted to intersect pupil to exchange the heavy water. What does headmaster want me to do? Lu Mu Yin asked Huo Ling Long with a smile that wasn't quite a smile. Huo Ling Long's gorgeous face revealed in arrogance. I want you to enter the intersect in a high-profile manner. Your talents in arrays, talismans, alchemy, and smithing can all be revealed. Can you give me a reason? Lu Mu Yin knew that Huo Ling Long wouldn't make such a decision suddenly. Little girl, sometimes it's a good thing to know how to hide, but it's also necessary to properly reveal your strengths. Huo Ling Long said earnestly, with your talent, you will definitely represent the 8 extreme sect to participate in the 6 major sects grand competition. Only if you perform outstandingly in the competition for the intersect spot. Then, after you enter the intersect, would they provide you with the highest quality resources to improve. After all, the sect also wants to get a few more spots to enter the land of inheritance. Headmaster means that if my performance is average, the sect won't spend a lot of resources to train me. Lu Muyin thought about it and asked. She was originally going to enter the intersect in a low-profile manner, but it seemed that it would be difficult to implement now. The resources that should be spent, they naturally wouldn't be stingy with, but some special resources cannot be enjoyed. Huoling Long said in a whisper. For example, the opportunity to enter the sect's core secret area to comprehend arrays, smithing, alchemy, talisman, and such skills would be gone. The sect's core secret area? Lu Muyin thought about it and guessed a bit from it. Yes, each sect has its own secret area, and there is a mysterious tower of enlightenment in the secret area. There are very few pupils who are qualified to enter the Tower of Enlightenment, and right now is an opportunity. Because the 6 major sects' grand competition this time is linked to the land of inheritance. So one of the ancestors of the sect decided to open the Tower of Enlightenment to the newly promoted inter-sect pupils with great talent. Huoling Long looked at Lu Muyin with a look of trust and said, I hope you win this rare opportunity. Lu Muyin was silent for a moment, then raised her eyes and said jokingly, Headmaster, are you leaking secrets? Did I say something just now? Huoling Long blinked and said, when one is old, their memory isn't that good. I think I don't remember what I just said. Lu Muyin smiled merrily. Headmaster was discussing the spiritual tea in the cup with me just now. Come and read on our website, Wuxiao World site. Thanks, yes. We were discussing spiritual tea. Huoling Long gave Lu Muyin a you-catch-on-well look. The opening of the Tower of Enlightenment was indeed a secret. She didn't know if other headmasters would reveal it or not, but she knew that if she didn't mention it, then this little girl Lu Muyin definitely would hide her strength during the assessment for promotion to the intersect. Headmaster, I brewed a few pots of spiritual wine for beauty and refining elemental energy a while ago. I wonder if you're interested? Lu Muyin accepted Huoling Long's kindness and naturally should repay a little. The contact between one person and another all required mutual support. One would never be recognized if they expected the unilateral efforts of others. Huoling Long's eyes lit up. Of course I'm interested. Lu Muyin took out a jug of honey spiritual fruit wine and a jug of blood sac wine and placed it on the table, then said with a meaningful smile, I won't disappoint Headmaster, and he'll earn face for you when the time comes. One gives me a peach, I repay with a precious jade one. In the past, the Talisman School was always the bottom of the sect. Since she couldn't be low profile, then she could only be flamboyant and high profile. Giggle. Huoling Long picked up a jug of spiritual wine, opened it and smelled it. Little girl sure is likable. Then she opened her beautiful eyes wide and asked tentatively, You just said that you brewed this spiritual wine? I usually also like these things. The spiritual wine brewed by other people is too difficult to swallow, so I can only do it myself. Lu Muyin shrugged. Huoling Long rolled her eyes and said through gritted teeth, Little girl, you aren't a human at all, simply a monster. These were 2 jugs of grade 5 spiritual wine, which meant that Lu Muyin was actually a grade 5 spiritual wine master. Such talent already made her unable to find any adjectives to express her own feelings. However, she didn't have any jealousy, but instead, she was very excited. The stronger her pupil, the more face she had as the headmaster. Anticipation flashed across her eyes. She sure wanted to see the day when those old things in those schools dropped their jaws in shock. Is there anything else Headmaster wants? Lu Muyin was a little frightened by Huoling Long's scorching gaze. Huoling Long smiled and waved her hand. Nothing else. Go back and prepare first. It'll wait for you to give me face in the inter-sex assessment. All right, then I'll leave first. Lu Muyin saluted and left. Huoling Long looked at the disappearing back, and the expression on her face subsided a little. She played with the spiritual wine bottle in her hand, and a playful smile rose on her lips. Little girl, don't disappoint me. For many years, she hadn't had the thought of focusing on training any pupil. Lu Mu Yin gave her that interest, but it all depended on whether the little girl's performance in the intersect promotion assessment was worth her betting on. After returning to her courtyard, Lu Mu Yin went into seclusion again. From time to time, she would also go out of the courtyard to listen to the lectures from the Talisman School and go to the sect's library to read some books on talismans. A month passed in a hurry, and the pupils of the outer sect were all gearing up to do their best. As long as one entered the inner sect, their future achievements would only be evident, and there was even a chance to soar into the sky. Everyone wanted to seize it. Lu Mu Yin felt the momentum and atmosphere of the pupils from the outer sect of the Talisman School, and she also felt a little more anticipation. One might have heard that the kindness of a drop of water will be repaid by a spring which is used more often. First time I've heard this, Peach, one ha ha ha. Though after some research, although they have similar meanings, but the Peach one apparently originated from an ancient poem about a man and a woman, where the woman offers a peach and the man offers a previous jade, thought to be his jade pendant, but not to repay her kindness, but instead to cherish the affections and be on good terms forever. Chapter 384. Crazy smashing of talismans. The promotion assessment to the intersect was half a year ahead of schedule, and was also something like a small festival. The outer sect pupils practically all came to watch the assessment competition without any absences. The outer sect pupils of each school could participate in the promotion competition for the inner sect. As long as they met the requirements, they would be selected into the inner sect. Those with outstanding results may even directly become an inner core pupil. The opportunity to soar high into the sky was in front of everyone. It just depended on whether one had the ability to grasp onto it or not. Many pupils were excited to sign up to participate. After all, this was an opportunity. Maybe they could enter after they happened to performed outstandingly. On the day of the intersect promotion assessment competition, the headmasters of each school personally brought the pupils who would participate in the assessment into the arena of the sect. The sect's arena was generally built for the pupils to practice cultivating martial skills. It was wide and could accommodate tens of thousands of outer sect pupils to watch the assessment competition. When Huling Long brought Lu Mu Yin and the several people to the scene, people from the other courtyards had already arrived. Do you think the Talisman School of that tyrant female dragon would be bottom again this time? The headmaster of the Alchemist School whispered to the headmaster of the Array School. The headmaster of the Array School had always wanted to dig Lu Mu Yin over, but Huling Long kept slapping his face and kicking him out. He was holding his anger in. Humph, when isn't there Talisman School at the bottom? I heard that the Tyrant Female Dragon's Talisman School has a grade 5 array master. I wonder if they could save themselves a round. The Smithing School's headmaster said with a little gloating as he looked at the Array School's headmaster. He knew that this old thing had been thinking about Lu Mu Yin for a long time, but unfortunately he was driven out by that Tyrant Female Dragon. The headmaster of the Array School's expression darkened and complained, Lu Mu Yin being in the Talisman School is a waste. After the intersex assessment finishes, if Lu Mu Yin really shows extraordinary talent in arrays, I must go to the sect leader for fair judgment. Hee. The one who got Lu Mu Yin to the Talisman School was a pupil of your school. The Alchemist School's headmaster said, dropping stones onto one who had fallen into a well. When this was mentioned, the Array School's headmaster was furious. That pupil named Shuel Laner dared to play such a trick, but he didn't deal with her immediately. He would just wait to see what would happen when the two faced each other in this intersect assessment. Shuel Laner's array talent was indeed quite good. She was already a grade 3 array master at a very young age, and she was also a key target for training in the outer sect. But if Lu Mu Yin was confirmed to be a grade 5 array master, she would surely bear the wrath of the Array School's headmaster for scheming against Lu Mu Yin before. You'll know if she's a mule or a horse after taking it out for a walk. We'll find out during the assessment. Maybe you'll also want to go to the Tyrant Female Dragon to dig her corner. The Array School's headmaster glanced at the Alchemy School's headmaster. He also heard that Lu Mu Yin could refine grade 3 pills. This old fellow was watching his joke right now, but he would definitely cry in the future. Of course, the premise was that Lu Muyin was as devilishly talented as rumored. Hualing Long arranged the seats of Lu Muyin and the others, then went straight to the headmaster's seats. She glanced at the other headmasters indifferently. "You want to see my joke? How's that possible? How could we dare to watch your joke?" The headmaster of the alchemy school smiled awkwardly. This tyrant female dragon wasn't only arrogant and tyrannical, but also very powerful. They weren't her opponents in a face-to-face fight. It truly was a waste of such a beautiful face. Hualing Long snorted and was too lazy to care about them. She'd wait to see their jokes later on. When the time arrived, the sect leader stood up and encouraged the pupils below, then announced the start of the competition for the inner pupil spots. The opponents were determined by drawing lots, and any means could be used as long as the opponent's life wasn't in danger. This was also the rules of the 6 major sects' grand competition, and the superiors of the sects indirectly encouraged pupils to use more means. Of course, no matter what means one used, one must understand limitations. Otherwise, if the opponent was fatally injured or crippled, then the sect would deal with it according to the sect rules. Ling Fei Yang, Yin Jun, and Mo Ling all participated in the inner sect assessment, and they all performed very well with winning streaks. Come and read on our website, Wuxiao World site. Thanks, the opponents Lu Mu Yin Drew were all from other schools, and she basically defeated them all within 3 moves. The examination competition was held for 3 days in total. The first 2 days weren't very interesting, and only the 3rd day was the crucial competition. Lu Mu Yin entered the assessment competition on the 3rd day without any suspense. This time, her opponents would become the elite pupils of the outer sects of each school. Seeing Lu Mu Yan's lazy and inattentive look from the very beginning of the competition, Ziche sure said with a smile, "It seems that junior sister doesn't take the assessment competition seriously at all." Lu Mu Yin folded her arms and replied lightly, "Senior brother's joking. I don't dare not care so much. Your turn now. I'm waiting for good news from junior sister," he said meaningfully when he heard Lu Mu Yan's name read below. "All right, then just you wait." Lu Mu Yan stood up and flew down to the battle platform. Ziche Sure was a person who couldn't be underestimated, and she believed that this man would amaze everyone today. After she arrived on the platform, a burly-looking pupil also jumped onto the stage. He swept Lu Mu Yin with a bit of disdain in his eyes and said, "You're the Lu Mu Yin who randomly picked up 100,000 contribution points? None of your business." Lu Mu Yin raised an eyebrow, showing absolutely no face to this elite pupil of the smithing school. "Truly don't know good from bad. We'll make sure you can't be arrogant in a bit." The burly man snorted. The situation about Lu Mu Yin meeting Shan Mu Feng, who was severely injured and on the verge of death, and killed him by a sneak attack, had long spread throughout the sect. Many pupils were secretly jealous, envious, and hateful that she picked up the 100,000 contribution points so easily. At the same time as envious of her luck, many arrogant genius outer sect pupils also looked down on her, and they didn't believe that she was a grade 5 array master at all. "If you want to battle, then battle. What's the point of talking nonsense?" Lu Mu Yin said indifferently. When the burly man saw that he was being despised by Lu Mu Yin, he was furious and immediately took out a Saint Treasure magic tool to attack her. Lu Mu Yin didn't even bother to draw her sword. She directly took out 2 grade 4 talismans and smashed them towards him. As soon as the talismans landed on the burly man, a roaring fire dragon and an ice dragon emerged from the talismans and rushed towards the man fiercely. In only 1 round, he was knocked off the battle platform with the power of the talismans, and that taste of ice and fire was enough for him to endure for a long time. Seeing Lu Mu Yan's simple and crude actions, many of the pupils present twitched the corners of their lips. She went just like this? Could it be any simpler than this? Hualing Long looked at the ugly expression of the smithing school's headmaster and couldn't resist laughing and applauding. Lu Mu Yin was too much to her taste. Was there anything more interesting than using talismans to defeat the geniuses of the other schools? The next rounds were as Hualing Long expected. The geniuses from each school took turns to go into battle, and no matter whether they acted or didn't act, they were all smashed down the stage by Lu Muyan's talismans. Her actions also successfully attracted the attention of the sect leader and headmasters. The faces of the remaining pupils who hadn't yet competed were also very strange. The pupils present were all envious, jealous, and hateful again. Didn't this woman feel any heartache after smashing so many high-level talismans? Even if she didn't care, they all felt their flesh hurt. That was all money. Hualing Long. What Lu Muyan smashed out were all grade 4 talismans. You couldn't have given them to her right. The alchemy school's headmaster saw another one of his school's geniuses smash down the battle platform by a grade 4 talisman of Lu Muyan's and couldn't help saying as he looked at Hualing Long. Chapter 385. Disdain Bang. Hualing Long suddenly smashed the table in front of her into pieces with her palm, revealing slight violence on her beautiful face. You want to be beaten, right? She raised an eyebrow and watched the headmaster of the alchemy school as she moved her fist. I, Hualing Long, have always done things fairly and upright. I don't like to use inappropriate means like you damned old things in your schools. The grade 4 talismans are all refined by Lu Girl herself. Seeing Hualing Long want to use her fists again, the alchemy school's headmaster remembered the embarrassing incident of when he was beaten by her and couldn't get out of bed for 3 days last time, and his face darkened instantly. Hualing Long, we're still in a competition right now. Don't be so arrogant. Laonyang is arrogant. What can you do to me? Hualing Long narrowed her almond-shaped eyes. Seeing this, the sect leader hurriedly said, Junior Sister Hua, don't be agitated. It won't affect your image well if you fight in front of so many pupils. Humph, this time it'll give the sect leader some face. If any of you dare to continue to slander the pupils of the Talisman School, Laonyang definitely won't let it go easily. Hualing Long huffed coldly and retrieved her fist as she sat back to her place. The other headmasters couldn't stop shuddering. This female tyrant dragon was simply too arrogant. The sect leader could only smile bitterly when he received the looks of grievances from the headmasters of the several other sects. What a joke! He didn't want to go provoke this female tyrant dragon. After Lu Muyan stepped down from the battle stage, she naturally discovered this scene with her mental energy. Her lips rose with interest. So Headmaster even had the nickname of Female Tyrant Dragon in the sect. But whoever had the bigger fist had the right to speak. This timeless truth applied everywhere. The next opponent Lu Muyan drew was Shui Laner, who knew if someone deliberately put them together. On the battle platform, Shui Laner could be considered a beauty in the array school, but compared with Lu Muyan, who was peerlessly beautiful that could cause the downfall of a kingdom, Shui Laner lost beneath her. I used to think Shui Laner was also quite pretty before, but why is it that compared to Lu Muyan, she just fell right into the dust? A pupil of the array school side, Lu Muyan was not only the kind of beauty with exquisite facial features, but her beauty was the sublimation of her temperament. She was as light as the wind and clouds, like a female celestial above the 9 heavens. From time to time, she revealed a kind of boldness and laziness, but she also made one feel gallant, refreshing, and wild. If the two temperaments were placed on others, one may feel odd, but they were vividly expressed by Lu Muyan. No matter where she went, her unique temperament was very eye-catching and attractive. Of course, this was also under the premise of strength. If Lu Muyan was just a sword master below Sword King, then she might have long become a plaything for other powerhouses. I wonder if Senior Sister Shui will be able to win Lu Muyan or not. Although another person also agreed that Lu Muyan was more beautiful, but Shui Laner was their array schools after all, so they naturally hoped she could win. Senior Sister Shui and Lu Muyan are both at peak phase Sword Sovereign, but Lu Muyan has grade 4 talismans, so she's more likely to win. Actually, Senior Sister Shui also has hidden means. In the end, it's uncertain who will win or lose. That's true. Senior Sister Shui is an elite of our array school. Don't enhance other people's spirit and diminish our prestige. The pupils of the Talisman School watched the battle platform with anticipation and cheered for Lu Muyin. For many years, the Talisman School had been at the bottom of the inner pupils assessment competition. This time, with Lu Muyin and Zi Che sure strongly entering the final day of the competition, it greatly enhanced their faces, and they hoped they would go even further. Lu Muyin, use whatever means you have. Shuelainer also heard the discussions below. She was originally very confident in her beauty, but she couldn't help but feel jealous in front of Lu Muyin. Come and read on our website, Wuxiao World site. Thanks, she secretly hated her and planned to defeat Lu Muyin in this battle. You're worthy of my means. Lu Muyin raised an eyebrow with a bit of disdain in her expression. She rarely showed this sort of expression to anyone, but she really hated Shuelainer, a villain who liked to talk behind her back. She didn't bother using too many tricks on her. Humph. Then today I'll let you see if I'm worthy or not. Shuelainer had a hideous look on her face. She quickly took out an array flag and started to set up an array. While setting up the array, she sacrificed 3 defensive-type Saint tools and a Saint treasure to block in front of her, in order to prevent Lu Muyin from smashing her grade 4 talismans. Lu Muyin chuckled. You don't need to guard against me with such big fanfare. I'll use talismans to smash others, but I think it's too wasteful to use them to smash you. You push people too much. Shuelainer looked at Lu Muyin grimly, her eyes filled with killing intent. I'll use your own words against you. Use whatever means you have. Lu Muyin didn't want to waste too much time with Shuelainer. The conversations and actions of the two were always dominated by Lu Muyin, while Shuelainer was passive, making many pupils feel that Lu Muyin was too arrogant. Who knew how long her arrogance would last? After all, since Shuelainer was raised with importance in the outer sect, she naturally had her own strength and definitely wouldn't be weak. Shuelainer kept forming the array while Lu Muyin folded her arms indifferently and watched. Seeing Lu Muyin's calmness and composure, even the several headmasters felt that she was being careless. Shuelainer's array was quickly constructed, and the entire battle platform was suddenly attacked by cold air. 4 giant pythons composed of ice elemental energy emerged from the 4 directions, roaring and flying into the sky. Grade 3 highest level killing array. Shuelainer can actually set up such a high-level killing array. Her talent is amazing. A pupil couldn't help but exclaim. The other pupils of the array school didn't expect Shuelainer to have hidden her strength. With her talent, there was basically no suspense in becoming a grade 4 array master. This killing array can even kill an advanced phase sword venerable. Lu Muyin's in danger. I heard that Lu Muyin is already a grade 5 array master. It's not certain who wins or loses. Can't you see how calm she is? Grade 5 array master? You believe in such a rumor? An elite of the array school said, the genius senior brother in the intersect is only a grade 5 array master. Lu Muyin's a liar. I also don't believe it. I'm guessing that her array talent isn't even as stronger as senior sister Shui. I wonder what she's so arrogant about. How embarrassing it'd be to be defeated in a bit. Just watch. I'm also more willing to believe that senior sister Shui can win. For ice pythons roared and fell straight atop Lu Muyin's head. They opened their mouth and spewed out a cold mist. The cold mist also contained countless icicles, and as long as one was struck, they would instantly become a sieve. Lu Muyin smiled playfully, stretched out a hand, and pointed it at the sky. A huge flame appeared out of thin air and instantly swallowed the 4 mighty ice pythons. She then took out a jade stone and tossed it casually. The jade stone formed an arc and fell on a corner of Shuelainer's array. Break! As soon as her voice fell, one watched as the originally intimidating grade 3 killing array instantly fell apart. Pu. As soon as the array broke, Shuelainer couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. She looked up at Lu Muyin in horror and unwillingness. She couldn't accept that Lu Muyin broke her array in just one move. It took her 3 years of hard work to build this array successfully. She even felt that it was perfect and had no weak points. How could it be broken like this? Chapter 386. Want to play gang up with me? Schwelaner clutched her chest, her eyes bloodshot. She neither believed nor accepted this fact. The icicles in the sky were completely annihilated by the elemental energy flames before it fell, and the battle platform was restored to its original state. It took only a few breaths of time for Lu Muyin to win, making people's eyes widen. You thought the grade 3 high-level array you built was perfect? Lu Muyin looked at Schwelaner with a smile. Schwelaner raised her head and glared at her fiercely, saying, "How did you find that weak point?" The weak point of that array that Lu Muyin found was something that even she, who arranged the array, neglected, but it unexpectedly became the key to breaking the array. Well, it's good for people to be confident, but being too conceited makes one doomed to failure. Lu Muyin looked at her with ridicule. "Do you think he'll give pointers to my enemies?" She knew the drawbacks of Schwelaner's array, but she wouldn't point it out. "I didn't use any other means to deal with precisely to completely destroy you. The array that you're so proud of is actually so vulnerable. What other means can you use? It'll give you another chance." Lu Muyin precisely wanted to break Schwelaner's confidence. Schwelaner closed her eyes. When she opened them, her gaze was much calmer. "That's what you said." Immediately, Schwelaner gathered elemental energy at her feet and quickly maneuvered around the battle platform. She was very fast, and many people couldn't see her figure clearly, only phantoms passing by. Gu Xiao and the others who were watching the battle from a distance couldn't help but smile with ridicule. This Schwelaner actually wants to play footwork in front of junior sister Lu. She's really humiliating herself. Hong Yang and the others had seen Lu Muyin's ghostly movements. Who's to blame when she sent herself to her door to be insulted? Jean Sei pursed her lips in disdain. "If anyone dares to slander me behind my back, then I'd go directly to their door to beat them to death." Junior sister Lu is still too kind. Gu Xiao and the others couldn't help but twitch the corners of their lips when they heard her words. Lu Muyin was too kind? Wasn't this sentence too fake? In their opinion, Lu Muyin was the truly ruthless one. If she just beat Schwelaner up, maybe she'd vent her anger, but if on the battlefield from beginning until the end, she didn't even take the opponent to heart, waiting for the opponent to use their proudest and strongest means, then when she actually acted, it could completely destroy all the self-confidence of the other party. They dared to conclude that if Schwelaner was defeated today, she would definitely give rise to a heart demon for both her cultivation and arrays. If she didn't meet any fortuitous opportunities in this life, it would be difficult to advance much. This was truly ruthless, attacking the enemy silently, not wanting their life, but letting one fall from above the clouds to being stepped on into a quagmire. After seeing her methods, they decided even more to not provoke her in the future. Lu Muyin was even more terrifying than the demoness Jean Sei. Senior sister Shue's so fast, I didn't expect her to have such footwork. A small follower of Schwelaner in the array school said cheerfully. "Yeah, I didn't expect that she hid quite deeply. She sure never showed these kinds of movements before." There were also those who didn't like Schwelaner who said sourly. On the battle platform, Schwelaner constantly shifted and changed positions. She prided herself on being as light as a swallow, but she was like a jester in front of Lu Muyin, who had extremely strong mental energy. Poochie! Suddenly, several black pills flew out from all directions and exploded in the air instantly. A black smoke lingered, and a scent that caused one to choke filled the air. This is elemental eliminating poison. Schwelaner actually used such a sinister method. How shameless. The pupils of the Talisman School couldn't help but curse after recognizing the black pill. As the name suggested, elemental eliminating poison was something that could eliminate elemental energy. Once a sword master inhaled it, the elemental energy would be lost and their whole body would be stiff, allowing others to slaughter however they wanted. Come and read on our website, Wuxiao World site. Thanks, although this poison wasn't listed as a banned poison on this continent, but few people would use it. After all, this method wasn't righteous and couldn't be brought to the light. It's over. Junior sister Lu is in danger. Many pupils of the Talisman School looked at the battle platform anxiously. The pupils of the Array School were also somewhat conflicted at this moment. On one hand, they hoped that Schwelaner would win. On the other hand, they felt that her victory by this method was a little incompetent. Just when most of the pupils thought that Lu Mu Yin had been eroded by the poisonous smoke and left to Schwelaner to deal with, she waved her sleeve, and a cyan-black firebird emerged from her sleeve. The firebird chirped, opened its beak, and sucked in all the poisonous gas in the air. It then revealed a humane expression, as if unsatisfied. Schwelaner, do you still have any more elemental eliminating pills? Give a few more. Lu Mu Yin said with a smile as she hooked her finger, and the firebird flew to her wrist. This was the separate spirit flame that she had refined with those snake gallbladders and extreme poison. The food it loved the most was also extreme poison. Seeing this, Schwelaner was so angry that she spat out another mouthful of blood. She paid a lot of money to obtain those elemental eliminating pills. She originally thought that she could restrain Lu Mu Yin, then humiliate her, but she didn't expect it to be resolved with just one move. She wasn't reconciled. Could it be that this woman was her nemesis? Since there's no more elemental eliminating pills, then this game should end now. Lu Mu Yin tapped gently, and the cyan-black firebird disappeared from her wrist. A strong sword aura from Schwelaner attacked from behind. Lu Mu Yin tapped her toes and disappeared in place, and the sword aura fell to the ground. Immediately, Schwelaner's body flew upside down from midair and landed heavily below the battle platform. Only then did Lu Mu Yin's figure loom from the air. What surprised the pupils was how Lu Mu Yin avoided the sword aura attack from Schwelaner. They didn't see it clearly at all. Sure isn't fun how easily you can be beaten. Lu Mu Yin furrowed her brows in disgust. I originally thought that since you injured and slandered me behind my back, I'd play with you a bit more, but you're too disappointing. Schwelaner didn't expect that apart from the fact that Lu Mu Yin broke her proud array with a single blow, the movement technique she had kept secret for so long as her trump card would also be so vulnerable in front of her opponent. At this moment, she suddenly felt disheartened. She was unreconciled, as she couldn't believe that she lost so easily to this hateful woman after preparing for so long. Trying to steal the chicken only to end up losing the rice. Old man Luo, there are quite a few scums in your array school. Do you need my pupils to help clean up your house? Huoling Long glanced at Schwelaner, who couldn't accept the facts with disgust, then raised an eyebrow and said to the array school's headmaster. The headmaster of the array school had a grim expression and snorted coldly. Don't need your fake kindness. This Schwelaner really was embarrassing. No one else could see that jade that Lu Mu Yin used to break the array just now. But as a grade 6 array master, he saw it very clearly. Lu Mu Yin indeed saw through the weak point of the array at a glance. And it was absolutely possible that she had the strength of a grade 5 array master as rumored. Schwelaner privately tampered with the spots when applying for the schools, causing the array school to lose such an excelling talent. Now that she was defeated in such a humiliating way, the headmaster of the array school had nowhere to vent. Schwelaner was defeated, but Lu Mu Yin's battle wasn't over yet. The next one she drew was the number 1 genius of the Outer Tamer School. As soon as Yin Hong stepped onto the stage, like Schwelaner, he first took out some defensive saint tools and placed them in front of him to prevent Lu Mu Yin from smashing talismans. Then with a thought, 2 tier 7 demonic beasts and a tier 8 demonic beast emerged from his spirit beast ring, instantly surrounding Lu Mu Yin. Lu Mu Yin blinked, folded her arms, and chuckled. You actually want to play gang up with me? Chapter 387. Scared Silly? Among the outer pupils, the sect leader and the several elders focused on raising and training Yin Hong because of his strong mental energy, so his beast-taming talent wasn't any weaker than those from the Spirit Tamer sect. Wow, senior brother Yin actually contracted 2 tier 7 demonic beasts and 1 tier 8 demonic beast. That's amazing. Seeing the powerful demonic beast that suddenly appeared on the battle platform, The pupils below couldn't help but exclaim, "Junior sister Lu, your talismans and arrays are too strong. I can only use this means of winning through numbers." Inhong cupped his hands towards Lu Muyin and smiled. Although he was a sword venerable cultivation base himself, but his strength was average, and he relied on the combat power of spirit pets. He originally thought that a pupil who had just entered the school for a bit more than a year would be easy to deal with, but after watching all the battles Lu Muyin had, he didn't dare to underestimate her, and as soon as he came to the platform, he activated his strongest tactics. He was a spirit beast master, so it wouldn't make people feel as if he was despicable even if he beat others with numbers, because that's how the battles with spirit beast masters were. Bullying others with numbers? So you know my hobbies. Lu Muyin chuckled and blinked innocently. Inhong noticed that her expression was still calm, and he didn't understand what she meant. What did it mean to know her hobbies? Did this woman like being bullied? But it didn't look like it. Is Lu Muyin scared silly by Senior Brother Ian's spirit pets? Possible, since Senior Brother Ian's combined combat power with 3 demonic beasts is dozens of times stronger than Shui Laner's. She must said that because she was afraid of being outmatched. Who knows? See how she copes. Just when all the pupils thought that Lu Muyin might continue to smash talismans or arrange arrays to deal with Inhong's spirit pets, they saw that her eyes soften a lot, and she began to murmur to herself. Since the other party wants to compete using spirit pets, you should all go up and play with them. Before the others understood what she meant, they saw the 7-colored parrot on her shoulder instantly transform into a huge cyan blue bird. A white light and a golden light darted out from her 2 wrists. A giant, pure white python with sharp horns on its head and 2 large snow-white bumps on its back landed on the battle platform. Then a golden vine climbed up from all sides of the battle platform, and countless vines swayed, making one feel as if their scalps were numb. A palm-sized, half-human-looking chi phone glowing in soft light and fluttering transparent wings emerged from her sleeve, wanted to join the fun, but was caught by Lu Muyin and stuffed back in. You don't need to go and join in the fun. Chi Huang blinked aggrievedly. Owner, I also want to play too. Lu Muyin rolled her eyes at her, then tossed her a pill. There's nothing fun about fighting. Although Empress Chi Huang advanced very quickly, but her body was relatively fragile. Lu Muyin didn't want this thing, who basically ate all her fortune, to be injured. Chi Huang's eyes lit up as soon as she saw the pill, and any thoughts about joining the fun instantly faded. She hugged the pill and ran to Lu Muyin's shoulder to nibble on it. Are these all tier 8 spirit pets? The pupils below were stunned by the aura of the demonic beasts released by Lu Muyin. Meow Meow and Shui both advanced to tier 8 demonic beast after taking the pills refined from tier 9 demonic beasts and their blood essence, and due to the uniqueness of their bloodline, they were considered semi-invincible among tier 8s. What? Lu Muyin's also a spirit beast master? Many pupils were in an uproar. According to the rumors, Lu Muyin could refine talismans, arrange arrays, refine pills, and unexpectedly, she was also a high-level spirit beast master. Was she going to blind them? She succeeded. Come and read on our website Wuxiao World site. Thanks Inhong watched Lu Muyin's 3 spirit pets beat up his own spirit pets as soon as they appeared, and his 3 spirit pets didn't even have the strength to fight back. He couldn't help but be stunned. After carefully scrutinizing Lu Muyin's spirit pets, he was completely stunned again. Peak Phase Tier 8 Ice Luan Divine Beast, a white python that was about to transform into a Jiao Dragon, an extremely rare human-eating bloodthorn vine, King Demonic Plant. And if he didn't guess wrong, the translucent human-looking demonic beast she just grabbed back was actually the Empress Chi Phone. After scrutinizing Lu Muyin's spirit pets, Inhong's previous arrogance completely dissipated. Ayo. After a while, everyone saw that Lu Muyin's 3 spirit pets on the battle platform beat Inhong's demonic beasts into shrills and screams, as if they were only playing around. Inhong's scalp was numb, and he knew that he had lost today, and he lost completely without any complaints. Junior sister Lu, I lose. I wonder if you can let your spirit pets raise their hands in mercy? Seeing that his spirit pets were about to be maimed, He immediately cupped his hands and conceded defeat to Lu Muyin. Lu Muyin smiled and said lightly, "Senior brother went easy." Immediately, she called back the 3 spirit pets who hadn't played enough. It was nothing to beat up the other party's spirit pets, but it would be bad to continue playing them to death. This Lu Muyin's talent is too abnormally monstrous. A pupil couldn't help but mutter. Being able to easily defeat the #1 genius of the outer sect of the Tamer School in the same way meant that Lu Muyin's beast-taming talent was definitely better than Inhan. She was called a mission maniac before. How could she have completed so many missions without this ability? Yeah, the women of our sect are bolder and more powerful one after the other. This time, the Talisman School finally regained a lot of face. Then, the #1 of the Alchemy School and the Smithing School also drew a fight with Lu Muyin. Lu Muyin didn't do a lot either, and just continued to smash grade 4 talismans, taking care of them with only a few each, making the 2 of them annoyed but helpless. The pupils below were discussing in a murmur, and the several headmasters weren't calm either. The last match is a duel between Di Shirtian and Lu Muyin, right? The headmaster of the Smithing School asked pointedly. Their Smithing School's #1 was just smashed off the stage by Lu Muyin's talismans. Inwardly, they also hoped that people from the other schools could poke at the arrogance of Hualing Long and Lu Muyin. Di Shirtian wasn't only the most dazzling genius that was practically considered the #1 of the outer sect, but he was also the younger brother of the inner sect's genius array master. Moreover, Di Shirtian was a grade 4 array master and a powerful sword venerable. Lu Muyin definitely wouldn't have any good fruit to eat when meeting him. The somber expression of the headmaster of the array school was much better after mentioning Di Shirtian. The 2 of them defeated the other opponents, so they'll naturally meet in the end. The headmaster of the array school still believed that Di Shirtian, who he focused on raising, could win Lu Muyin. So what about the #1 of the outer sect? The little girl of our school can still take care of him until obedience. Hualing Long sneered at the joy and triumph in the eyes of the array school's headmaster. After watching the competition for so long, she also knew that Di Shirtian and Lu Muyin were the 2 strongest pupils of the outer sect. Hualing Long knew about Di Shirtian. In addition to his strong background, the talents of the 2 brothers could also be ranked in the top 10 of the 8 Extremes sect, so they received much attention and was granted much importance from above. If Lu Muyin could defeat Di Shirtian today, the resources she would obtain after entering the inner sect would definitely be different from the other pupils. Of course, the corresponding pressure would also definitely be proportional to the cultivation resources. With Lu Muyin's intelligence, she would naturally understand this. It all depended on what she chose. Random note. Haha, I can't help but be amused whenever I translate Di Shirtian's name. Google Translate keeps translating him to Emperor Killing Heaven or Imperial Killing Sky or Emperor Kills the Sky or whatever, and I'm just thinking that's such a vicious-sounding Imperial name, because it technically is with its literal translation. And yet I'm pretty sure he's just another minor character, haha. Chapter 388. The little schemes of the several headmasters Lu Muyin was victorious all the way, and she soon faced off against Di Shirtian, who was also victorious throughout. Di Shirtian had deep facial features, the outlines so clear as if carved from blade. The red clothes of the 8 Extremes sect made his strong figure taller and straighter, and his imposing manner was filled with momentum, giving people a sense of wild arrogance. He strolled to the battle platform, his dark eyes reaching as far as the eye could see, bold and unbridled as he swept over Lu Muyin. There was no surprise in his eyes, no disdain, only a strong sense of interest. While Di Shirtian was observing Lu Muyin, she was also scrutinizing the man who was rumored to be one of 2 prides of the 8 Extremes sect. The aura that he exuded was that of a middle-phase sword venerable, but Lu Muyin felt a faint sense of suppression. This man had restrained a lot of his outward aura, so his strength should be much stronger. While the 2 scrutinized each other, the outer pupils all looked at Di Shirtian with admiration. Senior brother Di is too manly. If I can marry him, My life will be enough. A woman who admired D. Tion said obsessively. Forget it. A man like Senior Brother D isn't someone we can think of. The female pupil beside sighed. Even if I can really be his concubine, such a wild and domineering man isn't someone I can control. I wonder who will win between Senior Brother D and Lu Mu Yen. A pupil said, why do you need to ask such an obvious question? Of course, Senior Brother D. Although Lu Mu Yan's array talent isn't bad, but it's still too tender. The pupils of the Talisman School were worried. Junior sister Lu meeting D. Tion. I wonder if she has any confidence. What confidence could she have? D. Tion is different from those who were defeated by junior sister Lu before. In addition to his amazing talent in arrays, he's also the #1 person in the outer sect. It's even said that he can rank among the top 30 in the inner sect. Actually, even if junior sister Lu loses to D. Tion, it doesn't matter. She already fought for our Talisman School's face. Yeah, the performance of her and Ziche Shur has already overwhelmed the elite geniuses of other schools. In the future, who would dare to look down on our Talisman School for having no one? Where the headmaster sat, a ray of sharp light flashed across the eyes of the headmaster of the smithing school. D. Tion's elemental energy fluctuations have become much denser. D. Tion is worthy of being the #1 in the outer sect of the array school. Although he's only middle phase sword venerable cultivation base, but even a peak phase sword venerable sword master might find it difficult to win against him. The alchemy school's headmaster stroked his white beard and praised. The headmaster of the smithing school revealed slight regret. Lu Mu Yan's talent is indeed good, but it's not enough against D. Tion 1. Seeing Huo Ling long glance over coldly, he immediately added, of course, given enough time to grow, she wouldn't be that bad. You blind old things. Huo Ling long huffed coldly, a hint of ridicule on her lips. She waited to see these damned old things drop their jaws. On the battle platform, D. Tion folded his arms and looked at Lu Mu Yen with a smile, saying, Junior sister, if you only have a means to smash grade 4 talismans, then there's no need to compete. A grade 4 talisman couldn't hurt him, though a grade 5 talisman could potentially threaten his life. Senior brother, just use whatever means you have. Junior sister will just follow your lead. Lu Mu Yen said casually, playing with a strand of her hair. The pupils below twitched the corners of their mouths when they heard this. Do you have to be so arrogant? Come and read on our website, Wuxiao World site. Thanks, Junior sister sure is wild. Then let me learn a few things from you. D. Tion laughed loudly, took out a few array flags, and began to arrange. He kept inserting seals into the array flags, and slivers of warm light penetrated into the array. Lu Mu Yen narrowed her eyes and chuckled. Senior brother's array is indeed really powerful. A grade 4 Sun Essence Golden Array isn't something that ordinary people can arrange. It turns out that junior sister is also a person of this path. You've seen through my array as soon as I started to arrange it. The color of interest in D. Tion's eyes were even stronger. I'm looking forward to your solution. All right. Lu Mu Yan's eyes were filled with fighting intent. The Sun Essence Golden Array could attack and defend. It could be regarded as a relatively difficult high-level array among grade 4 arrays. The person arranging it not only needed to have strong mental energy, but also needed to comprehend the 3 attribute elements of metal, fire, and wind. The power of this array didn't come from spiritual stones, but from the sunlight. As long as the sun didn't set, the array could run forever. Moreover, this array could be continuously upgraded. She once saw a large sex guardian array in the immortal cultivation world be an enhanced version of the Sun Essence Golden Array. While D. Tion was making arrangements, Lu Mu Yen no longer hesitated. She took out a few refined array flags and began to arrange 3 small arrays. Quick! D. Tion inserted the main array flag into the array. Suddenly, golden lights flickered one after another, forming a translucent light cover. The light cover contained a scorching energy fluctuation, and the protective power that overflowed could definitely resist the bombardment of sword venerable cultivators. At the same time Di Shirtion finished arranging his array, Lu Muyan's 3 small arrays were also arranged. The 3 arrays exuded 3 dazzling colors of gold, green, and red. She inserted a Taoist seal, and the 3 colored lights instantly joined together. The 3 rays of light instantly formed a light cover no weaker than the Sun Essence Golden Array of Di Shirtion. What? She was able to set up 3 small attack and defense-type grade 4 high-level arrays at the same time. The headmaster of the array school couldn't help but exclaim. The headmaster of the alchemy school watched the green and red arrays, his eyes gradually burning intensely. Her fire and with dual attributes have actually been comprehended to the great achievement realm level. If there was an opportunity, she could definitely go to the next level. If such comprehension talent was used in alchemy, it is entirely possible to become an alchemist above grade 5. The headmaster of the smithing school slammed the table in front of him and said excitedly, "Metal attribute elemental energy is almost comprehended to great achievement realm. Coupled with the peak great achievement realm fire elemental energy, Lu Muyan is a great seedling for smithing." Before, they only ever heard A.O. Rome's constant praise of Lu Muyan's talent. They essentially had never seen her with their own eyes, so although they usually paid attention to her, but they had never been this focused on her. Her mental energy is very strong, even better than the number 1 genius in the outer sect of us Tamer School. If she enters the inner sect and goes to the Tamer School to cultivate, she would definitely be able to improve greatly. A bright light flashed across the eyes of the headmaster of the Tamer School. After the pupils of the outer sect participated in the selection assessment for the inner sect, they had the qualifications to reselect their schools. If he could dig Lu Muyan over, the Tamer School would definitely be as if a tiger added with wings too. As for the things that the headmaster of the Tamer School could think of, the headmasters of the other schools naturally also had their own small schemes inwardly. Huoling Long glanced at the several people lightly and didn't bother to argue with them. Either way, if anyone dared to try to compete for Lu Muyan with her, then she'd definitely go demolish their school's wall. Seeing Huoling Long's grim gaze, the sect leader smiled shyly and said, "Let's first take a look at Lu Muyan's performance. The fight's starting. 1 Omeo Nu 1. God Kills the Sky is now Di Shirtion's name too. 2 an idiom, meaning to make something already amazing and powerful even better. Who doesn't want to ride a tiger with wings? XD. Chapter 389. Battle of Arrays. The sect leader's words made the several headmasters present turn their attention to the battle platform. As soon as Di Shirtion's Sun Essence Golden Array was constructed, wisps of sunlight scattered down, and the entire battlefield was surrounded by warm sunlight. When the sun filled the array, 3 golden beams suddenly erupted from the array and attacked Lu Muyan in unison. Lu Muyan placed her hands together and pointed at the 3 arrays that connected. Red, gold, green. 3 rays of light erupted from the array. The 6 rays of light with strong, formidable energy gathered together and exploded in mid-air in an instant, canceling each other out and vanishing in the sky. There was a strange color in Di Shirtion's dark eyes. It is rumored that junior sister Lu is already a grade 5 array master. I sneered at it before, but now I can't help but believe it after seeing junior sister's 3 mini arrays. Senior brother's Sun Essence Golden Array isn't weak either, not to mention that you've hidden your strength. You must also be a grade 5 array master already. Lu Muyan raised an eyebrow and smiled lightly. Di Shirtion obviously hid his strength. It now seemed that his talent was no worse than the one in the legends and was definitely the best among the array masters of the younger generation. Junior sister has good eyesight. Since we're all grade 5 array masters, how about we exchange pointers today? Di Shirtion was filled with interest. That elder brother of his was solitary and aloof and had nothing in common with him, not to mention exchanging pointers and arrays together. It was rare to meet a strong opponent, so today his competitive spirit also rose in his heart. Having no opponent was a lonely thing, and being able to meet a strong array master to exchange pointers with was something he had been looking forward to for a long time. All right, then, senior brother, show your true strength, and let's compete for a winner. Lu Muyin hooked her lips into a bright smile. No way, right? A pupil was shocked when he heard the conversation between the two. Both of them are still holding back. Are they really grade 5 array masters? The ability to build a high-level grade 4 array that combines defense and attack isn't something that ordinary array masters can do. If the two of them hid their abilities, it's entirely possible for them to be grade 5 array masters. An elite from the array school side. Senior Brother D being a grade 5 array master but hid his talent. Although amazing is still acceptable, but if Lu Muyan's also a grade 5 array master, then that'd be too shocking. Look at how old she is. The pupil of the array school secretly sighed. Comparing oneself to another could definitely infuriate oneself to death. If Lu Muyan is also a grade 5 array master, it means that her talent is even better than that of the 2D brothers. After all, she's only 18 years old and Senior Brother D is already 22. Few people in the inner sect can surpass such talent. No wonder Elder Ao Roan dug her to the sect. Yeah, if we didn't mention her age, it's not that amazing, but an 18-year-old peak phase Sword Sovereign Cultivation base is also a genius in the sect. After today's battle, Lu Muyin would probably soar into the sky. But even if Lu Muyin is a grade 5 array master, I'm still more optimistic about Senior Brother D. If there's no accident, Senior Brother D has a 90% chance of winning. Not only is he a grade 5 array master, he's also a sword venerable. The discussions below fluctuated constantly, and all the pupils were filled with expectations for the following battle between the two. But this time, although more people were optimistic about Di Tian, no one slandered Lu Muyin. Her talent and strength had won the approval of most outer sect pupils. Di Tian quickly took out a cyan banner and tossed it at the array. The banner merged with the warm sunlight above the array, and tornadoes formed within the array in an instant. Come and read on our website, Wuxiao World site. Thanks with just the addition of this wind attribute array flag, the Sun Essence Golden Array became a wind-killing array, and the grade of the array was also raised from grade 4 to grade 5. Then one after another, tornadoes swept out from the array and blew in Lu Muyan's direction. Lu Muyan's comprehension of the wind attribute was triggered by the battle with Shen Mu Feng and was at the beginner realm. She was just looking for an opportunity to comprehend it. Seeing Di Tian use wind elemental energy in the array to condense into tornadoes, her eyes lit up. With a thought, a layer of soft, glazed light covered her whole body, which was a sign that her sorcerer's skill had reached layer 3 of cultivation. After taking the pill refined from the Tier 9 White Jiao Dragon Blood Essence, her Bodis toughness also grew stronger again. She closed her eyes and moved her ears, quietly listening to the sound of the tornado. Afterwards, her hands constantly formed seals, and a black array flag left her hand and slowly unfolded in the air. Green branches and leaves with the power to devour spread from the array on the left. Blossoming fire lotuses floated out from the array in the middle with scorching power, and needles condensed from metal elemental energy shot out from the last array. Due to the addition of the black array flag, Lu Muyan's 3 light guardian arrays killing array power was also activated, and the grade also changed from 4 to 5. Heavens! Senior Brother D and Lu Muyan are actually really grade 5 array masters. A pupil from the array school couldn't resist exclaiming as he covered his mouth when he saw the two were fighting at a deeper level. It was one thing hearing the two talk about it before and guessing about it, but seeing the two of them construct a grade 5 array like this with their own eyes really made the pupils present unable to believe what they saw. And from a visual point of view, it seemed that Lu Muyan's array was even better. This world was becoming a fantasy. The headmaster of the array school couldn't help but stand from his seat and look at the two people on the battle platform with excitement. The look in his eyes were as if he had seen a treasure that couldn't be ignored. I didn't expect Lu Muyin and Di Shirtian to have such high talents in arrays. The headmaster of the smithing school furrowed his brows and wondered to what extent would the two of them be able to smith. His thoughts were also the thoughts of the other school's headmasters. Even Hualing Long, who had long known that Lu Muyin was a grade 5 array master and talisman master, couldn't help but marvel. The means the two used to directly integrate elements onto a grade 4 array to upgrade to a grade 5 array was something that even some senior grade 5 array masters couldn't do. And it was also combined attack and defense. On the battlefield, Lu Muyin abruptly opened her eyes, and in an instant, branches, fire lotuses, and golden needles attacked Di Shirtian in unison and deliberately evaded the tornadoes. Di Shirtian furrowed his brows in confusion. With the strength of the 3 killing arrays of Lu Muyin, she could completely face his tornado. Why would she deliberately avoid it? Although he was puzzled, but he didn't dare be careless. He immediately activated the Sun Essence Golden Array to strengthen the defense, and a cyan longsword also appeared in his hand. After channeling elemental energy, he swung his sword and slashed. Cyan ripples spread out in the space, but they didn't attack Lu Muyin directly, instead entering the tornadoes. With the addition of the cyan ripples, the speed of the tornado was significantly increased, and the wind also gradually grew stronger. Di Shirtian's wild and handsome face had a confident and unbridled smile. This was his unique skill after comprehending the wind elemental energy to great achievement. He sure hoped Lu Muyin wouldn't lose so quickly. Then he immediately took action to deal with the cohesive power continuously delivered from Lu Muyin's 3 arrays. Lu Muyin saw that the tornadoes of Di Shirtian was coming toward her more powerfully, but not only was she not afraid, she even revealed an unprecedented interest. She exited the protection of the 3 arrays with a tap of her toes and took the initiative to enter into the tornado herself. Heavens! Lu Muyin's crazy. When everyone watched the Battle of Arrays, they only felt that it was extremely gorgeous, and they were astonished as never before. This was the first time they had seen grade 5 array masters directly set up arrays to fight. But what did they see at the critical moment of battle? Lu Muyin actually left the defensive protection of the array, ran to the vicinity of the tornadoes condensed from Di Shirtian's array, and took the initiative to enter it herself. What does she want to do? Does she not want to live? Many people shouted, Lu Muyin's crazy. Is she taking the initiative to die? That's the tornado condensed from a grade 5 array. Even a peak phase sword venerable would be ripped to pieces if they entered right. I heard that Lu Muyin's also a body cultivator, and her level isn't low either. So what if she's a body cultivator? Is that tornado something a human body can withstand? Even if the body isn't shredded, it'd be seriously injured. This woman's too crazy. Gu Xiao and the other's eyes widened in disbelief. Junior sister Lu didn't go crazy right. Peng Yang stared at the tornado, searching for the red figure. Since Jean Sei came into contact with Lu Muyin, she didn't think she was an impulsive person, but there was still some worry revealed on her face. Maybe junior sister Lu has some purpose. She wouldn't joke about her own life. Yes, this little girl Lu Muyin isn't a normal person. Let's not look at her with thoughts for a normal person. Gu Xiao sighed. That girl in the competition space was one who didn't play the cards by the rules. The people on the headmaster's seats were also completely stunned for a moment. The headmaster of the array school crushed the teacup in his hand, and his beard shook with anger. Nonsense! This is a joke. Such behavior by Lu Muyin was tantamount to sending herself to her death. How could she be so impulsive? I think she did it on purpose. Does she want to use the tornado to find an opportunity to comprehend? The headmaster of the alchemy school said with a frown, even if she wants to comprehend something, she shouldn't joke around with her own life. That's crazy. The smithing school's headmaster shook his head with a look of disapproval. Hualing Long's beautiful face revealed a meaningful smile instead, as expected of the person I value. She has boldness and courage. Hearing Hualing Long's passionate words, the several headmasters couldn't resist twitching the corners of their lips. Just what did she say? Hualing Long. Her behavior is this crazy, but you support it? Truly unreasonable. The headmaster of the array school looked at Hua Long grimly. He finally knew why Lu Mu Yin was so unscrupulously crazy. It seemed it was taught by this female tyrant dragon. A fine, good seedling was taught by Hualing Long to have such a temper. What if she was killed or seriously injured by the tornadoes? He was originally going to wait for Lu Mu Yin to enter the intersect and dig her over into the array school to raise. You all know rubbish. Hualing Long glanced at the several people with disdain. She seems to be able to comprehend the wind element already, but she was only just getting started, so she has to find good opportunities to open that door. This time, the tornadoes condensed from wind elemental energy from Dishur Tian is the perfect opportunity. But it's too crazy and impulsive to do this. What if you don't comprehend it, and instead you die? The alchemy school headmaster appeared regretful. Hualing Long sneered. Cultivation of the path is originally something heaven-defying. Only those who dared to fight can truly become powerhouses. Come and read on our website, Wuxiao World site. Thanks, know why you all are so weak. It's because you're too greedy for life and fear death. Unreasonable. The faces of the several headmasters instantly turned dark when they heard Hualing Long's words. Women and vile people were all difficult to raise. They wouldn't entangle in an argument with her. She didn't make sense at all. Hualing Long didn't bother paying attention to those several stubborn old fellows. She put her mental energy on the battle platform and felt for Lu Mu Yan's aura. If there was any danger, she would immediately act. Not only were the pupils off the platform and the headmasters above watching this match, but the top 10 core pupils in the intersect were also quietly hiding in a corner to watch. When they saw Lu Mu Yan's crazy behavior, the several revealed deep thought. Dishur Tian watched in shock as Lu Mu Yan took the initiative to dive into the tornado that he had condensed. At first, he didn't understand her behavior, but he gradually discovered that she was actually following the tornado's trajectory, and he instantly knew the purpose of this move. She was using his tornado to comprehend the wind element attribute. Although this approach was very dangerous, as with just a little carelessness, it would kill her, but it was undeniably a shortcut to open the door to wind attribute comprehension. His heart was touched at once, and he put away all the contempt he had left for Lu Mu Yan before, looking towards her with a complicated gaze. Crack! Just as he was distracted, a crisp sound suddenly sounded, and as soon as he looked up, he saw a few cracks had appeared in the defensive light cover of the Sun Essence Golden Array. His expression instantly changed, and he immediately formed seals to repair it. The shock in his heart was indescribable. The power of the 3 mini-killing arrays arranged by Lu Mu Yan was actually this fierce. And at this time, Lu Mu Yan, who was quietly following the wind with her eyes closed in the tornado, simply had no intention of paying attention to the reactions of the people outside. She kept walking with the wind with her flash steps, and each time the wind was about to hit her body like tens of thousands of sharp knives, she would stagger with her flash steps and avoid it subconsciously. A state that she had never felt before emerged. Her heart moved with the wind, and she slowly entered a wonderful state. The things that were once stuck in place, and her questions were all suddenly enlightened with this state of mind and nature. The tornado was constantly sweeping and scraping on the battle platform, while the pupils stared intently. From time to time, one was also able to see a touch of red clothes in the wind, shuttling as if there was no one. Suddenly, the 3 killing arrays built by Lu Mu Yan shone brightly. Branches, fire lotuses, and golden needles were continuously sacrificed one after the other with more power than before. The repair speed of Dishur Tian was obviously not as fast as the attack speed of Lu Mu Yan's array, and cracks appeared on the translucent light cover in an instant. Boom! With the final 3 colored beams shooting down, the Sun Essence Golden Array was broken. Dishur Tian was shocked and quickly sacrificed several defensive saint treasures. The long sword in his hand danced quickly, and the sword aura that broke through the air slashed out. Tion was in an extremely embarrassing state from the bombardment of the arrays. He approached the 3 arrays again and again, wanting to find a breakthrough, but failed. And because the Sun Essence Golden Array was broken, the power support given to the tornado gradually weakened, and the tornado disappeared in the sky after a while. Lu Muyin, who was indulging in an inextricable state, suddenly opened her eyes with a hint of regret. If she comprehended for a while longer, her wind attribute might be able to directly enter the understanding realm. Looking down, she saw that Tion was trying to find the weaknesses of her arrays. She curled her lips and inserted a few Taoist seals into the array in midair. The 3 arrays appeared as if alive, and a ball of 3 colored light slowly rose from the connected arrays, then shot towards Tion at the speed of light. Chapter 391. Become outer sex. Number 1. The light ball that slowly rose from the array and flew out in a stream of light wasn't that conspicuous, but Tion didn't dare be careless. He immediately sacrificed a high-level Saint treasure to resist, and then quickly evaded. However, the speed of the light ball was too fast, and it even incorporated a hint of the wind element that Lu Muyin only just comprehended. So after Tion's shield resisted most of the power, the light ball brushed over the shield and struck Tion. As soon as it touched Tion's body, the 3-colored light ball quickly turned into a ray of light and struck him hard. Although Tion was a strong sword venerable powerhouse, but his body was different to sword masters who refine their bodies. Even if only a third of the power struck his body, it would still force him back and spit out a mouthful of blood. After the 3-colored light dissipated, everyone just saw the originally handsome, prideful, and unbridled Tion clutching his chest, panting in a sorry state, with a trace of undried blood down the corner of his lips. His clothes were shattered in many places, and his hair was loose. It was basically impossible to think he was the same person as the high-spirited number 1 person of the outer sect. On the other hand, looking at Lu Muyin, she revealed a thoughtful gaze on her stunning face, standing in the air, her long black hair tied up high, fluttering in the wind, her appearance like a painting, skin whiter than snow. She was filled with pride and arrogance and unbridled self-confidence, and also a kind of carefree, otherworldly temperament, just standing there quietly, as if a picture scroll, pleasing to the eye. Junior sister Lu, you have one. Tion looked up at the woman standing in the air, and a hint of pleasant amazement appeared in his eyes. Then he curbed his emotions and smiled bitterly. He was destined to be extraordinary from the moment he was born, although he was covered by the brilliance of that peerless genius elder brother. But he had also caught up with him since his innate talent awoke. He was the pride of the clan, the focus of the sect's training, and the genius worshipped by countless brothers and sisters of the same sect. And this time was also the first time he had been defeated in more than 20 years, and he had never been in such a sorry state before. He did possess contempt at the beginning of the battle towards Lu Muyin. Even if he gradually grew vigilant later, it was too late, but it was undeniable that he did lose. In this battle that he and the rest of the sect originally thought would have no suspense, he actually lost, and it wasn't a wrongful loss at all. Lu Muyin's talent had surpassed him already. It wasn't scary to lose. Instead, he felt a sense of happiness inwardly. The smooth sailing in the past 20 years had made him so prideful that he had gradually lost his way. Now this battle was like a blow to the head to wake him up and let him understand that there are mountains beyond a mountain, skies beyond a sky, people beyond people, and that there were those stronger amongst the strong. Lu Muyin was originally still pondering about the sliver of wind elemental energy she had just integrated into the array just now, and only looked down at Tion when she heard him speak. She saw that there was a streak of blood on the corner of his lips. His appearance was rather sorry, and the injury on his chest he clutched at was obviously not light. But there was no resentment in his deep black eyes, and, instead, there was an incomparable brightness, as if he had found a street lamp. There was an arc on her lips, D. Tion was a broad-minded, open-hearted person. No wonder he could go so far at such a young age. I have a pill here to heal injuries. Take it first, senior brother. Lu Muyin flashed over in front of D. Tion, took out a pill, and handed it over. D. Tion looked at the lustrous and full pill and was stunned for a moment when he smelled the medicinal fragrance emanating from it. He immediately took the pill, ate it, and it melted instantly in his mouth. As expected, a grade 4 pill. Thank you, junior sister. Moments after taking the pill, he felt that the blood surging in his body gradually calmed down and his swollen and painful internal organs felt much more relaxed. Your pill is a good thing. Senior brother is too polite. Lu Muyin smiled modestly. She also gained a lot from the battle with D. Tion this time. She was in a good mood, and this senior brother looked even more pleasing to the eyes. Come and read on our website, Wuxiao World site. Thanks. In addition, she was about to enter the inner sect, and she should be able to participate in the grand competition between the 6 major sects not long after with D. Tion. So she still hoped to not have a grudge with this person. But seeing that D. Tion didn't resent her now, her impression of him couldn't help but improve slightly, of course. If D. Tion was the kind of villain that was narrow-minded and held grudges, although she wouldn't be afraid, but she wouldn't take the initiative to show friendliness. Junior sister, earlier, was comprehending by borrowing the wind element power condensed from my array. D. Tion still couldn't help but ask this question he had. Lu Muyin nodded and didn't conceal it either. I did comprehend the wind element through senior brother's array earlier. If there's a chance, I would like to exchange pointers again with senior brother. I wonder if senior brother D would reward some face at that time. D. Tion's wind element attribute had already reached the Great Achievement realm, which was already considered very outstanding among the younger generation. Exchanging pointers with him would help her improve her understanding of the wind elemental energy. Haha. D. Tion laughed heartily. I can't ask enough for it. Then he'll come to find junior sister to exchange pointers. Junior sister better not find me annoying. Lu Muyin's fire element was already at Great Achievement's perfection realm, and her skills and arrays were even more superior. Exchanging pointers with her would also help him advance a lot. Even if she didn't bring it up, he would also take the initiative to pester her to exchange pointers when they enter the inner sect in the future. I think senior brother is very pleasing to the eyes, so I'll give this Essence Force pill to senior brother. I think it can help you break through the bottleneck of this level. Lu Muyin took out a porcelain bottle and gave it to D. Tion. She discovered that D. Tion's cultivation base should be stuck at middle phase Sword Venerable for a while. She didn't mind selling him a favor with a pill to break through this bottleneck. And the stronger his strength, the more beneficial it was for the grand competition between the 6 major sects. D. Tion was also a refreshing and thick-skinned person. Hearing her say that, his eyes lit up and he opened the bottle to take a sniff. It was just a sniff, and he already felt the elemental energy within him surging in his body even more vigorously. If he took it, the effect would be exactly like what she said, helping him to advance phase Sword Venerable. He immediately put the pill away with a bit of gratitude revealed on his face. Thank you for junior sister's generosity. This pill is really important to me. I will definitely befriend someone like junior sister. If there is anything you need after entering the inner sect, junior sister can come find me. All right, senior brother can be seen. Out of blows, friendship grows. The way the two changed from being opponents to friends was too fast. The pupils who were still trapped in the aftertaste of the battle just now was a little unable to react fast enough. Lu Muyin actually defeated senior brother D. That's a miracle. Yeah, and from a sincere look on senior brother D, it's obvious that he's not begrudging of what happened just now. He probably benefited a lot from that battle. Someone couldn't help but envy. The position of the number 1 person of the outer sect seems to be replaced today. Someone sighed. Indeed, she's now the worthy number 1 person of the outer sect. It's a pity that she would enter the inner sect in a few days to compete with that bunch of abnormal monsters for a place. With her performance in this assessment competition, she'll definitely be raised with importance by the sect. How enviable. The people below kept speaking words of envy, but the shock and astonishment in their hearts couldn't dissipate it for a long time. Yin Jun, Ling Fei Yang, and Mo Ling were also lucky enough to win a spot in the intersect this time. Seeing how outstanding Lu Mu Yan was, they couldn't help but smile bitterly while also sighing with joy. They were people who were also selected to enter the sect from the Tianling Continental Tournament for hegemony, but the gap between them and her was only getting bigger and bigger. While the students below chatted and discussed chaotically, the headmasters sitting above weren't calm either at this moment. Emperor slaughtering heaven, haha. Chapter 392. Enter the intersect. The several headmasters had varying thoughts at this time. The headmaster of the alchemy school was staring at the pills that Lu Mu Yin gave Disha Tian, while the headmaster of the array school couldn't sit still any longer. As soon as the intersect's pupils' quota assessment competition was over, the headmaster of the array school left in a hurry to the sect leader. Huoling Long watched him follow the sect leaders back in a hurry, with an arc of ridicule on her lips. It seemed that this old man wanted to dig the corner of her talisman school. The headmasters of the other schools all had varying thoughts, but all waited for the headmaster of the array school to take the lead. The moment the sect leader took one step into the door, the headmaster of the array school followed behind. After sitting down, the attendant of the sect leader brewed a pot of tea for the two and exited the door. Senior brother, do you have any plans for after Lu Mu Yin enters the intersect? The headmaster of the array school asked first. The sect leader gently scraped the tea leaves in the cup with the lid, then spoke slowly after a while. Do you think Ling Long will give up Lu Mu Yin? Sect leader, when Lu Mu Yin chose schools, Xue Laner used tricks, so she went to the talisman school. With her outstanding array talent, it's best to transfer to the array school. The headmaster of the array school said straightforwardly. Her talent in arrays is indeed heaven-defying, but being able to refine grade 4 talismans shows that her talent on the path of talismans is also exceptional. It's impossible for Huoling Long to let her go. The sect leader said, sounding rather troubled. The headmaster of the array school's expression was incomprehensible. Then he thought about it and asked, what if Lu Mu Yin chose the array school voluntarily? If it's Lu Mu Yin's own choice, I will naturally not interfere, and Huoling Long has no right to leave her in the talisman school. The sect leader said, all right, after Lu Mu Yin enters the intersect, this old man will go and talk to her. Joy rose on the face of the headmaster of the array school. The sect leader glanced at him lightly and said with a smile, Lu Mu Yan's talent has been noticed by the superiors of the sect. After entering the intersect, once the pagoda of enlightenment is opened, if she performs well, it's very likely that she will be accepted by one of them as a disciple. If you want to talk to her, I won't stop you, but you can't force her. The headmaster of the array school was stunned for a moment. Then understanding crossed his face. I understand. If she doesn't want to come to the array school, I won't force it. However, he could still lure Lu Mu Yin. He believed that in the face of absolute interests, anyone could be tempted. After the headmaster of the array school left, the headmaster of the alchemy school and the several other headmasters also came to visit the sect leader. After obtaining the same answer, they planned to wait for Lu Mu Yin to enter the intersect before making plans. After returning to the talisman school, Lu Mu Yin was greeted by the pupils of the same school. After she dealt with it, she hid in her own courtyard and cultivated without seeing guests. In the battle with Disha Tian, she was able to grasp a sense of comprehension of the wind element. In the next few days, she was further comprehending it. 5 days later, she received a communication talisman. When she opened the courtyard door, she saw Ziche Shi standing at the door with a light smile. Why are you here, senior brother? All the places for the inner pupils have been decided. The sect leader asked me and you to report to the inner sect. Ziche Shi said gracefully. Lu Mu Yin nodded. All right, we go now. Lu Mu Yin wasn't as familiar with the 8 Extremes sect as Ziche Shi, and the two took an hour to fly to a remote hall on their swords. The inner sect is here? Lu Mu Yin blinked and asked. Ziche Shi chuckled. Of course not, but we have to take a flying demonic beast from here. The inner sect is far from here. Lu Muyin asked as they walked. Come and read on our website, Wuxiao World site. Thanks, Zi Che Shi took them to the top floor of the main hall. It will take more than half a day to arrive. After Lu Muyin went up to the top floor, she found that there were quite a few halos. Within the halos caged numerous Tier 7 flying-type demonic beasts, all domesticated. The two of you are doing to the inner sect. An elder who managed the flying-type demonic beast hall looked at the two and asked. Yes. Ziche Shi handed over the passes for the two of them. After the elder checked it, a smile appeared on his face. Come with me. Immediately, the two sat on a Tier 7 tiger-faced eagle beast and soared in the opposite direction to the outer sect. Why don't we use our own flying magic tools? Is there something special about it? Lu Muyan sked while sitting on the tiger-faced eagle beast. The location of the inner sect is a bit special. Only the tiger-faced eagles raised by the sect who have special marks since childhood can find the place to enter. Ziche Shi paused, then said, Of course, after we obtain a new identity token after entering the inner sect, we can also come and go freely. We don't need to go to the inner sect with the other people. Lu Muyin thought at first that the sect would let the pupils go to the inner sect to report together. The outer sect pupils of each school will report together in their schools, and the other pupils of our talisman school will be led by headmaster to report in 2 days. Ziche Shi explained. Then why are we 2 days early? Lu Muyin furrowed her brows, very puzzled. The pagodas of enlightenment, one will be opened in 2 days for some reason, and only the two of us from the talisman school can go to the pagodas of enlightenment to comprehend, so they arranged for us to be earlier. Ziche Shi's eyes were filled with anticipation. I see. Near the evening, the tiger-faced eagle beast crossed a large lake, and after passing the lake, one could see the undulating forest, exceptionally spectacular. The tiger-faced eagle beast made several high-pitched shrieks, and its 2 claws landed on a tree dozens of feet high and patted a spot. Then one saw that its claws was imprinted in a hidden array. After its aura matched, one saw an ancient gate appear out of thin air atop a large tree. The gate opened slowly, and the tiger-faced eagle beast spread its wings and entered. The gate then immediately closed behind them. Lu Muyin didn't expect that the inner sect would be hidden in such a place. The huge tree was obviously the edge of a huge guardian array of the sect. After entering the gate, one saw numerous great halls standing majestically at intervals in the distance, with pupils wandering around from time to time. Spiritual clouds surrounded the area, and the spiritual fields below were planted with various spiritual herbs and flowers. The concentration of spiritual energy here was more than 3 times that of the outer sect. The surrounding floating islands were entirely covered by an array, and the tiger-faced eagle beast carefully avoided them one by one. Most of these floating islands are the residences of elders. You should be careful not to come to this area when flying in the future. Ziche Shi reminded Lu Muyin when he saw her look at the floating islands. Spiritual energy gathering arrays must be arranged on all those floating islands, right? Lu Muyin said while rubbing her chin. Ziche Shi chuckled and said, Junior sister really has good eyesight. Only elders live on the floating islands? Lu Muyin watched a young man fly on a sword entering a floating island in the distance. The man was wearing the clothes of an inner pupil. If the pupils can rank in the top 10 in contribution points, then they can also spend their contribution points to buy some time to live on a floating island. That senior brother is one of them. Ziche Shi's expression was filled with yearning. In addition to the spiritual energy gathering array, I heard that the floating islands has many benefits and uses. If junior sister can earn enough contribution points in the future, you should consider it. 1-inch Chinese, there isn't anything like plurals in English, so when they mention the pagodas of enlightenment, previously I translated it to Tower of Enlightenment. It could be taken as several or only just one. They never mentioned the number, so I forgot there were several. After translating a little later, I realized it was more than one pagoda, so I'm correcting it here. Chapter 393. The devil lord that's being disliked. Lu Mu Yin saw the scorching yearning in Ziche Shi's eyes. She raised her head and swept the celestial land like floating islands surrounded by spiritual clouds. She discovered that each floating island not only had a spiritual energy gathering array, but also integrated an attack and defense array, isolating all divine sense and sonic waves outside. You mean that only the top 10 people on the intersect contribution points can buy usage time of floating islands? Ziche sure smiled and shook his head. All intersect pupils can buy the usage time of floating islands, but the contribution point spent is extremely astonishing. Some people have calculated that only the top 10 pupils in the rankings can afford it. How long can I buy some living time with 100,000 contribution points? Lu Muyin asked after thinking for a bit. A month or so, Ziche sure said with a bitter smile. You obtained 100,000 sect contribution points for killing Shenmu Feng. Although you're ranked first in the outer sect, but you might not even rank in the top 100 in the inner sect. Lu Muyin furrowed her brows. Only a month? What a fraud. Spending 100,000 contribution points to live on a floating island for a month felt like a luxury now. No wonder only the top 10 have the ability to buy time. She used to think that her sect contribution points was quite high, but who knew that after Ziche said that? It didn't seem that high at all. All the consumptions in the inner sect require contribution points. Usually, the resources issued by the sect aren't enough to be used. If there's no contribution points, it's impossible to do anything in the inner sect. Ziche explained. The contribution points for killing a sword saint can only equate to 1 month of time on a floating island. So how do other people obtain contribution points? Lu Muyin was speechless. Although the sect has issued wanted orders, but they don't encourage pupils in the sect to do wanted missions. After all, those on the wanted list are not only powerful, but also very ruthless, so the contribution points reward is relatively disproportionate to the risk of the reward. Ziche said, seeing a bit of confusion in her eyes. Ziche continued to explain. Each pupil of the inner sect is an outstanding genius on Tianling continent. The sect doesn't want those elite pupils to be lost in the hands of the wanted just for training. The other training missions are also very dangerous, but the nature of those are different. Lu Muyin nodded. Understandable. If the sect went to so much trouble to raise a peerless genius with their resources, but they all died thanks to those wanted criminals in a mission, then how much of a loss that'd be? Actually, I don't know the specific method of earning contribution points in the inner sect. I only know that if you want better and high-quality cultivation environments and resources, then you must first work hard to earn contribution points. Ziche sighed and said, the competition in the inner sect isn't at the same level as those in the outer sect. Exchange with contribution points? Interesting. Lu Muyin hooked the corner of her lips. No matter where, one couldn't gain benefits without working hard for it. The sect couldn't possibly blindly give. It was more interesting and challenging for her to strive for everything by herself. Ziche's lips twitched violently. What seemed extremely hard and bitter to them turned out to be interesting to her. The tiger-faced eagle beast took them to the entrance of the main hall in the central area, then flew away. A pupil outside the door saw the two coming down from above and walked over with a smile. Our junior brother and junior sister here to report to the inner sect? We were ordered to report today. Ziche handed over the welcome token for the two of them. Come and read on our website, Wuxiao World site. Thanks. After the pupil checked it, there was a bit of surprise in his eyes. He raised his head and looked at the two of them again with an even deeper smile on his face. Junior brother, junior sister, come with me. After taking Lu Muyin and Ziche to the management office of the main hall, he left. Steward Wang at the inner sect registration office. Give me your original identity tokens. Steward Wang looked at the two with a kind smile and said. After the two handed the identity tokens over, Steward Wang put them away, then took out 2 new jade tokens for them, then said, imprint your own essence on this. This is your new pass to the inner sect in the future. You must keep it well. After receiving the identity jade token, Steward Wong took the two to the resource management office to receive an interspatial ring each, which contained the uniform of the intersect and some resources for newly promoted intersect pupils. Each intersect pupil has individual residences. Core pupils can also open a cave in a fixed spiritual mountain by themselves. Because the two of you are going to the pagodas of enlightenment tomorrow, you can temporarily live here today. After you come out of the pagoda of enlightenment, there will naturally be someone who will arrange your accommodations. Steward Wong took the two to a side hall where they lived exclusively. Yes, thank you, Steward Wong. The two replied with a smile. After Steward Wong left, Lu Mu Yin and Zi Che sure greeted each other and went back to their rooms to rest. The spiritual force here is so dense. Bing Ji jumped from her shoulder to the table, picked up a teapot, and poured himself a glass of water, then said with dislike, "This spiritual water is good, but the spiritual tea sure is bad." Lu Mu Yin rolled her eyes at him. "It's already good that they even offer it." The tea leaf she used to brew tea was all top-grade spiritual tea that Gai Mingxiu gifted before separating. Not many people on this continent could afford it, and one couldn't buy it even if they had spiritual stones. Compared to the spiritual tea of the sect, it was like heaven and earth. I heard that you can't bring spirit pets to the pagodas of enlightenment together. You should all stay here and cultivate well. Lu Mu Yin glanced at Bing Ji. You've already reached peak phase tier 8. They'll give you a few pills in a bit. You should quickly break through during this time. Although it's difficult to break through to tier 9 demonic beast, but Bing Jia's innate divine beast talent determined that he wouldn't have a huge bottleneck when advancing to tier 9 like other demonic beasts. All right, little owner, don't worry. I've already sensed a sliver of opportunity to break through. Bing Ji had been cultivating pretty hard recently, mainly because Meow Meow and Shui were now on the same tier as him, and he felt it was very embarrassing. Work hard. Lu Mu Yin smiled meaningfully at him, then poked Mo Yin and said, "During my absence, watch them closely and don't go out to cause trouble. Let's put your pin in here too." The pagodas of enlightenment should have a high-level array that scans automatically. Jun Luo, Chun will most likely be discovered if he follows you in. Mo Yin thought for a while and said. Lu Mu Yin took the pendant off her neck and tossed it to Mo Yin like some hot potato. If the superiors of the sect knew that she had been raising a devil race, they'd definitely skin her. It's honestly really dangerous to carry this devil lord around. Jun Luo-chan was a ticking hidden danger. She really didn't know if it was good or bad to keep him to cooperate with. He sure was troublesome. Mo Yin waved his paw in dislike, and the pendant fell around Bing Ji's neck. I don't like the aura on him. There were frequent wars between the devil realm and the demon realm, and he didn't like that dark, evil aura that the devil lord Jun Luo-chan carried. Jun Luo-chan, who was being disliked by the one person and one beast, twitched the corner of his mouth speechlessly. There's also a day where he, a dignified devil realm's devil lord, would also be this disliked by a human and demon. You're tuning into the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.